Jolene Thompson. Jolene, how are you, my friend? I'm in the show. We're going to see them, right? And before I thank sponsors and do all that, you and I were fortunate enough to be the guy named Dan who was going on a freedom tonight and told us about the unique supply of your fish fishing hadn't prevailed. And now, this is his first trip back. And you get to be part of it. I'm jealous. Yeah, that's going to be something. Yeah, and going made a reference to the fact that I said you were interviewing him because I found your story so just a human interest of it. And it'll be on the morning briefing in the morning, so we'll have that for you. I'm going to thank you, Father. Now we're going to get into your genetics, your history, and tackle this. You want to ask us more tips? And I want to know, what it's like to think with a bunch of creepy guys all like that. More than anything. That's number one. Hey, option fluorocarbon, of course, we recommend only options. They are so great, and you can find them at www.optionusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, that's the benefit report. And, of course, great math. His fingers are falling off for writing handwritten notes. So you have personal notes and a free gift. Daiwa, you're a Daiwa girl, aren't you? You like Daiwa beer? Did you turn those good tuner around with us now? Yeah, sometimes they turn you around. Okay. Daiwa's got good beer, whether it's skinny beer, you want to stick the copper, or you want to go with the fruit-free, heavy-duty. Nobody does it than our sponsor, Daiwa. Blacktail Hook. Sky, I know you're watching. I thank you so very much for all you do for us. Sky is a great guy. Hey, Sky, look at the questions coming in already. I wonder if this will be happening. Oh, Santa must be did that know this is happening? I don't know. There isn't that. How to see that? Rudy Jolene, you got me into the 20th year, 2 days, 4th of July started. I caught my first yellowtail. So because I made so many comments already, and there's a ton of people watching. You're very popular. Oh, I told you to turn that on ahead of time. Let me get it started. You want to say anything to Sam? I mean, keep that, right? But you can translate this later.
To do as far as getting bit sooner than later, and that's my go-to is to get at the bait tank and get ready, and when that boat slows down, you're pinning your bait as you're walking back to the stern, and you're letting it go. And so they were on a trip on the Producer about a month ago, and both her and her husband had never caught a bluefin tuna before, and they each caught one. There was only 7 caught on the boat, so I thought it wasn't my doing, but I was so excited for them to be able to have that experience.
That is awesome. The Friedman Adventures family has saved your host once again because they're up there saying, the sound is terrible. And I look out, and I don't have our mics plugged in.
Uh-oh.
I do now.
Okay, good.
Okay, but I had something else plugged in there. I did that, just so everybody out there knows, and I was doing an interview with Mark Paisano Sr., and about a half hour into the interview, I looked out and I go, oh crap, I didn't plug the mics in. I go, hey Mark, stop right there. Let's start over.
Yeah,
You want to
for
kill
sure.
me. All right, thank you. You guys are awesome. Steve Ennis, hi Jolene, so happy for you being on with Phil. Do you know Steve?
I do.
Okay, he's a good guy. What do you want?
He's
You
a
want to
great
say
guy.
anything to him?
Hey Steve, how's it going?
He's over there.
Oh, hi
Remember?
Steve. Sorry.
You don't have to look. I'm looking there for
Steve,
you.
let's go fishing together sometime, and I hope you're catching lots of fish this season. It's a great season. It hasn't even really started, I think.
I think you're right. All right, so since I'm such a moron and I didn't have our mics plugged in, we met this guy, Dan. He's
Right.
going fishing. He was in a battle with leukemia and he has prevailed. And you're going fishing with him. And of course, we did a little interview that we're going to play on the morning briefing, but almost brought a tear to my eye to hear this guy that the thing that's going to bring him more joy than anything is going on a fishing
I
trip.
know, that's so neat. What excitement for him. He hasn't been out for since 2018, and here he is. He gets to go do what he loves, and on a great boat with good weather, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, Jolene, some people just say, what is it about fishing that brings you so much joy? What do you like about fishing? And sometimes it's not about catching the fish. It's about the people you get to hang out with. You've overcome cancer. I don't know, you'd think that there's a myriad of different things you could do. But this guy, Dan, wants to go fishing.
Yeah, definitely. It's so exciting. Like Shannon and her husband, they're deaf and they get to go enjoy fishing just as much as anybody else.
That's
and it's
awesome.
nice to see people with a little slight impairment, or maybe they might be blind, or they have to fish out of in a wheelchair. It's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
For people to be able to enjoy fishing like we do.
Dave Thompson, Ruben Lopez, Jeff Yeomans, Dave Thompson, John, Travis Strain. All those guys are saying hello to you, of course, and saying, thank God the dummy got the audio fixed. So I'm glad I could do that. Shannon Gillard, not capturing. I apologize. That's something I need to work on. I'm glad that you're here. And yeah, we'll figure that out. Travis, thank you both for being here tonight. Kat Thompson.
That's my daughter.
Oh, your daughter says, yeah, sound. Hi, Mom. Say hi to your daughter. She's right there.
Hi, Kat.
Hey, Kat, I hope you can hear us now. It was me, my fault. I'm going to go back to some more of our sponsors, and then we'll get into it. Of course, we've got to thank 22nd Street Landing here in beautiful San Pedro, California. What a great landing. Lots of great boats, and I feel so grateful to be here. That front door, you walk out there, it's beautiful.
It is.
I mean, I'm blessed, I have to admit.
I bet.
The Malahini, my good friend Bill Wilkerson, will be fishing with Bill on Friday. There's still a little bit of room on that trip. If you want to book it, go to the Freedman Adventures Facebook page, and you'll find a link that you can click on and join us for some torrid kelp patty action. Island fishing tackle in Carson, California. Sam De La Torre runs such a great place there. And I got to thank Sam, Jolene, because he actually ran the whole kids trip that we recently had out of Dana Wharf. You've seen some of the photos. In fact, you were captivated by the little girls and the big smiles, which you'll see behind us. Sam, thank you so much. He brought his kids, Diego and Luna, and I know they had a good time. Diego, Luna, hi. And he's a great guy. It's so nice to work with him. Hey, a guy, Israel De La Cruz. Hi, Jolene. I'm going to have to jump on the Southern Cal one of these days with my kiddos. Do you fish the Southern Cal?
Actually, I've fished it many times. I used to work on that boat, and it's a great operation. The boat was built in 1947 from up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful boat, and they brought it in, totally restored it. It's a beautiful galley. Great deck
Where is
hands.
it now?
It's at Oceanside Harbor.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Oceanside Sea Center. Yeah.
I love that boat. I fished on that with my kids when it was running out of Pier Point and back in the day, and that was a lot of fun. I remember I've got a photo of Patrick up in the bow with just a ton of sand bass, and he must have been 6, 5, something like that.
That's great.
So good stuff, Israel. Good to see you also. Also want to thank Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. Ventura Sport Fishing, Tucker McCombs and the Endeavor. You ever fish with Tucker?
Not yet.
That guy, I don't know if there's a guy with a better work ethic and just a knack. Some guys have that thing, whatever that thing is about finding fish.
Yeah, I know.
He's got it. I mean, he's freaking beyond got it.
For sure.
So good stuff. And local boats up there, Island Spirit, Cody Rogers does a great. We'll have to go up there and go fishing.
Definitely.
In fact, my niece, Connie, just graduated from USC Medical School, so she's a doctor now. So I'm okay,
All right.
Until I croak. Good. Connie, my left toe, and she's gonna be like, "Oh God, it's Uncle Philip again. Can we get rid of him?" But she said she just bought a house right near the harbor. So my brother Paul, who lives in Taiwan, but he's visiting, he said, "Anytime you wanna." Boy, Connie doesn't know what she's asking for.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna be in there all the time. Yeah. So Ventura Sport Fishing 805-676-3474 and Fish Taco Chronicle magazine. You ever read that? If you don't, say you do. 'Cause
I do.
Sean Arnold. Yeah, thank you.
I pick it up at Ken's.
There you go. Sean Arnold. And I think that's all I've got to thank right now. You know, we should talk just briefly
Sure.
about some of the fishing that's going on, and then we'll get into your stuff. But
Okay, sure.
there's some really good sea bass fishing going on at Nicholas and Santa Barbara Island. The guy that runs the Pride here out of 22nd Street, Sean,
He's on fire.
wow. I mean, he had a whole mess of sea bass the other day. He had over 100 sea bass a week ago that we filmed. It's incredible.
It is.
When did you get into the sport? What year?
Well, pretty much I got into the sport in 1981, but I come from a family that my grandparents had a boat, my parents had a boat, my brother Chappie that works on the Old Glory.
Yeah, he's still there, right? Is he the galley cook?
Yeah, he's a galley.
Yeah.
We
Is there some special burger that you can tell everybody going to Chappie and tell them on Friedman Adventures you heard?
Somebody just told me that, I forgot who it was, but I think it was Brandon that my brother made him eggs Benedict on the
Really?
time. Yeah, so.
Where'd he find the hollandaise sauce? He's
I don't know.
quite inventive,
Yeah,
right? I like that.
But yeah, back to fishing. Just as a little girl, my parents and my grandparents fished. They each had a boat at Oceanside Harbor,
Yeah.
1964. So me and my brother, we were inseparable on the dock, you know, fishing, looking for mussel. We had a dinghy, that type of thing, and then that ended in '72, and then I didn't really fish through my teenage years until I was like 21. I never had caught a yellowtail. I always wanted to, and you know, finally I did. It's I don't remember what boat it's on, but so I've been fishing ever since. So '81. So.
You didn't fish in your teenage years just
No.
because you lost interest, or what?
Yeah, pretty much so.
I mean, there's other things going on in your life, right?
Yeah, I worked at a liquor store.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I was in high school, and I didn't really fish. Didn't really fish at all.
I kind of lost when I went to university, Loyola, I kind of didn't fish that much. But then I bump into my sociology professor, is Nick Curcione. Nick is a long-range author and a huge fisherman. He's 80 years old now. I went down and saw him the other day.
That's neat.
But then all of a sudden now he's going, oh, you like to fish? Let's go, man. Let's go to San Diego and catch some albies. And so I was back in the fishing, you know, right? And another guy, Pete Hoffman, he was a geography professor there, and he was a big-time fisherman. So I was walking by his office one day, and I hear him listening to you. I don't know if you know the Jim Healy sports report, but Jim Healy was the guy that did a sports report. It was pretty funny. And I stopped and I go, "You listen to Healy?" And he goes, "Yeah, come on in." So, and then he loved to fish. So it was great. It was pretty funny.
Neat.
All right, Rick Slater loved the baby Mako heads. Oh, cool. Yeah, I got those in Rosarita Beach. Rick, I go to this little store, and there's two twin girls, cute kids, 20-something years old. Now, I think one's on her way to be a dentist, so they're doing really good. Cool. But I always go in there and I go, "Hey, you guys got any, pescado stuff?" And they go, "We got these Mako heads." And I go, "I'm in. I want those." So there you are. Dave Thompson, shout out to all the peeps that grew up in Oceanside Harbor.
Definitely.
Like who? Do you want to mention anybody?
Some of the Daryl Wasana grew up in Oceanside. Golly, who else? There's probably quite a few. I just can't think of them off my head. But
Jeff Yeoman says, "Sign me up for those eggs Benedict."
Oh yeah.
Chappie, get busy on those eggs Benedict. No, I think we got him screwed up now, right?
Yeah. Well, they're going to be going, "Hey, where's the eggs Benedict, Chappie?"
Dave Thompson says, "Grew up on B Dock starting in 1966." Dave's an old guy like me.
Well, I don't know if he's. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Oh,
no.
Wait a minute. He grew up in 66. Yeah, no,
You're
he's not that
about
old.
the same age.
Yeah,
know?
maybe. I think I got him beat by about 10 years.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a great fisherman. He fishes on the Sea Star quite a bit down at Oceanside, and I met him fishing, and he loves to outrigger canoe, and he loves fishing. He just went on the what was it, the Spirit of Adventure, and got his butt beat, him and his brother and his son. Oh, the weather was just nasty.
God, their butts.
Really nasty.
Yeah.
Just terrible. But
I've been on a few of those lately.
He landed. He got a tuna. but he's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, and he's mentioning up there, he says, yes, I am old. I bet you I got you beat, Dave. Your daughter says, she practically gave birth to me at that harbor. You didn't want to go to the hospital? You had a bonita going or something?
Yeah, well, probably. Well, I surfed my whole life, so that was number one, and fishing was number two. In fact, I had a license plate that says I'm a triathlete. I surf, golf, and fish.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah.
So you've been drawn to the water, not only for the fishing, but for the surfing. You just, seems to me like you love the ambience of the Eastern Pacific, or whatever body of water you can find.
Yeah, just growing up in Oceanside since '64, surfing, and my dad was a surfer in Newport Beach, and just when I met my husband, started surfing. I think I was 19, and that was my go-to, and fishing also. And so I don't surf anymore, but I still fish.
So for a lot of guys, I think the lure of fishing is the hunt. You know, that whole part of it. Is that the lure for you, or is it more the peace and tranquility that you find, or what?
No,
or is
it's a little bit of a combination. The peace and tranquility, definitely, once you get on a boat and get off land. But I really like, I like the excitement and being positive about going on a trip, what I'm going to bring, what I'm going to do, as far as tackle. And I set, my mindset is I'm going to catch something.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch something. And, there's days I don't catch anything.
And are you disappointed?
No. It's like getting an 8 on a par 4, you just leave that hole behind and you go to the next.
Right. Yeah. It's
shot,
like Notre Dame football for me. Like leading up to the game, if the Irish lose, I'm going to jump off a building. Then when they lose, I'm like, all right, who cares?
Yeah. It's no big deal.
There's another game next Saturday.
And it's not like I'm out for blood to fish. But I just like to, like I've been fishing for like 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best,
Very humble.
I always learn something on a boat.
That's why you're good.
Always.
Yeah, because know-it-alls don't learn anything.
No.
In any facet of life.
Yeah, and I like to think outside the box, like.
So if everybody's throwing a blue and white jig, you look at it and they're not getting bit, you say, maybe I'll try a green and yellow or whatever.
Well, for example, I just had a 2-day charter on the Pacific Voyager, and we fished Coronado Islands. And the second morning, woke up at 4:30, and Mitch Arnos, who was the second captain, Mark Arnos' son, he just landed one, and there's a few people out there, and I go, hey Mitch, what should we use, and he goes, use a blue and chrome, and that's what worked for him. Yeah. And so I tied one on. I had to borrow one. I didn't bring any jigs, and so I put it on my Daiwa 35, and dropped it down a couple times, and I didn't get hit. But initially, I had this glow-in-the-dark 100-ounce cold sniper, full glow-in-the-dark with a single hook, probably like an 8/0 hook. Yeah. And I really wanted to use that, but then I did what he suggested, and I did. So then I had my Daiwa 40. I pinned that puppy on there, on 40-pound test. They were catching mackerel during the night, and so I hooked a mackerel underneath, or top, whatever. I think I don't remember, and I sent it down there, and I got bit, and I got a white sea bass.
Oh, nice!
And I really feel that.
Was it the first sea bass on the boat, or
no?
Okay.
There was a couple.
Mimi Pham caught some, right?
Mimi Pham caught 2 real nice ones.
Yeah, I saw her. She's a good friend.
She's great.
Isn't she?
I love fishing with her, and
she's Sean's girlfriend. Yeah,
yes,
Sean Hardigan, who runs the Mission Bell.
And so just I just I really wanted to use this jig, and because it glows, it's attractive,
calls attention
like
to
if
itself.
You were scuba diving and you seen that jig, you would look at it.
Right.
And so
that's a good way to look at it.
I got bit, and I got one. I was really happy.
Yeah, because sea bass nowadays at the Coronado Islands are not as common as they were when I was a kid, and you actually make squid there all the time, and there were sea bass and halibut bites, but lately, and I'm talking about for the past decade or so, you don't have sea bass bites at the Coronado Islands.
I never heard of it. I mean, schools like your size of your room, a flying fish just on the top of the water. Like,
How cool is
you
that?
For the kite fishing on the bluefin, you could go and load up there, man. I tell you.
Yeah, right.
And they were all the
Perfect size.
perfect size.
Yeah, I'm
So
surprised.
anyway,
ahead.
with the jig, yeah, I like to try to. I also like I like to use 17-pound test and small hooks, and yeah, that prevails. One time I let this gal on the Ocean Odyssey. She didn't appear like she fished very often, and she was having trouble with her reel. She was feeding it out. You know, when you have to feed out a reel, no bueno.
Yeah,
and so
right.
I had the 17-pound test on, and I go, hey, can I have a rod you can use? I can throw out for you. And so I threw out, and then me and this guy, our tips get tangled, and then we get hit,
Yeah.
boom, and I handed her the rod, and she went up the rail with the deckhand and caught a 30-pound
Whoa.
caught a 30-pound bluefin, and she never caught a bluefin before.
How great is that?
On 17,
what a great feeling for you, right?
yeah, it was cool because I didn't tell anyone what pound test it was
Uh-huh.
until after the fish was in.
Yeah, because they want to kill you,
So-
right? You're fishing 17. You should be
and,
fishing 40.
It's a number that you don't.
Right.
You
It
don't
is a
hear,
weird
you
number.
don't hear 15, 20, but
Right.
that's why I like to think outside the box.
Right.
And yeah, I've caught yellowfin, like small 12-pound yellowfin, just one after another with light line, and just to get that bait to swim as fast as possible.
Yeah, right. And look natural.
Yeah.
Many times captains will say, boy, we had a bunch of guys on the boat. Not all captains, and San Diego captains, I think, are better.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, oh, we had a bunch of guys on the boat that didn't know what they were doing, so we didn't catch anything. And I feel like, hey, that's your job to teach them.
Yeah.
If they don't know what they're doing, well,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody doesn't know what they're doing in some
Right.
facet of life.
Exactly.
You need a teacher.
Yeah.
So that's no excuse. But one of the things that I think they're referring to is dropping that line down, choosing a good hot bait, doing all those things. Now, a lot of these guys are going to want to be screaming at me saying, we don't want light line down here. And I get that. I fish heavy. I fish heavy. But if you're fishing calico bass and you're not getting a bite, you drop down to 12 fluoro,
Yeah,
you're going to get a bite.
Yeah, if things are slow,
Or like you said,
you have a better chance.
Exactly. All right, let me go back to this just for a second. Travis Bright, he's on the Malahini with us on Friday.
Cool.
Phil, should I bring the heavy setup for Friday's trips, 80, 100-pound? Why not, Travis? I mean, it's mostly kelpatty yellowtail. There's some Dorado. There's a lot of Dorado around, but hopefully that's going to get on the bite. But there is some bluefin tuna around also. Oz Romero. Are you out there, Oz? Because Oz sent me a text or actually commented on our YouTube page. He was on the Tomahawk. They had
like the Tomahawk.
2-day limits of yellowtail in 2 hours.
Oh, God.
And they had a bunch of Dorado, I guess, or not that many, but some Dorado. He said it was phenomenal.
Oh, that's good. That's a good boat. I like that boat a lot.
Yeah, and he's fishing 40 pounds. So, Travis, do it. Shannon Gillard, what is she talking about now? It would be nice if this was captioned. I can't do anything right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Frank Chapman, my new breakfast special is huevos rancheros. Hi, sister. Is that Chappie?
Hi, Chappie. Hi, brother.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yay.
Your new thing is huevos, or no, eggs Benedict, isn't it?
Eggs Benedict.
Chappie,
yeah.
welcome to Friedman Adventures, your sister. We're so fortunate, so blessed to have her here. It's great. And if you want to tell us about fishing or make a comment about some tackle that people should bring on the Old Glory, please do. We need to get fresh info out to everybody. So you mentioned that fishing is in your genetics also, right?
Yes.
And you just recently learned some things, right? About, was it your father or grandfather being...
Yeah, my uncle passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And my aunt found a box of my grandfather's things, and in it was he was a fish and game officer in 1937 in Watsonville, California.
Wow.
And he was badge number 334. And then he ventured down to Santa Barbara. My mom was born in Santa Barbara, and my grandfather was a hard hat diver and worked on Stearns Wharf. And my mom used to make the boxes, wooden boxes that they put the abalones in when they sold them to the markets.
Yeah.
And he was a hard hat diver, And he went down to Newport Beach because I remember being a kid, like going to the abalone factory and seeing these big old mounds of shells, and the smell,
Right.
the smell was like, ah, like
Yeah,
as
right.
a kid you're going, ah.
Right.
But we ate a lot of abalone, and so that's my mom's side. And my dad's side, they're from Newport Beach. My dad moved to Newport Beach from Boston in like the 1700s, and him and my dad fished all the time.
Oh, so you've gone back in your genealogy and checked
Yeah,
this stuff out? Huh?
uh-huh,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just recreational fishermen. And my dad was a pinhead on some of the boats, and him and Dittmar hung out. They were
Really?
teenagers, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Dittmar Donaldson, that
The whole famous hull?
built the America, the Freedom,
Right.
and the Liberty.
A lot of boats.
And the America is now the Grande.
Yeah.
And I love fishing on the Liberty.
Tell us why.
I just Captain Taro is excellent. Ryan, Paul, the crew, Sarah in the galley, and Daniel. It's just it's just a boat you get on, and they are ready to go, ready to fish, ready to get you on fish, find fish first, and
they're all business.
They're all business.
Yeah.
And, there could be 40 people on the boat, and, they sort of like when the fish aren't biting, they're sort of like, oh, bummer, we're not catching today. We want, they want to show everyone a good time.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
It's a good boat to go on.
Is it a good boat for someone who's beginning to go on? I'm guessing it is. That they're going to teach, that they're going to help.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the deckhands, they look on that boat, they look to help the new angler or the lady angler, or even definitely kids.
Yeah.
Kids, it's like automatic.
Yeah, like this, right?
Yeah,
All
right?
these kids,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
But do they have Eggs Benedict on there, or is that Chappie's thing?
I think that's Chappie's thing. They have great food on and it's it's like the Freedom. It's a long galley and very clean boat, and they mean business.
Do you fish with Tino before? Tino
No, I
Valentine?
never have.
Really?
No, I have not.
Oh, you're in for it.
All
I don't know
right.
if he's running the boat tonight or not. Either him or Trevor. It doesn't
so.
matter. They're
Yeah.
both. Trevor's a young kid on the block, doing great.
All right.
Fabulous. We're all very proud of him. And then Tino, I mean, you're going to be entertained for hours.
I was
because-
watching a YouTube video on the Freedom last night just to see what the boat looked like.
Right.
I mean, oh my God, the galley's like long.
Oh, yeah, you saw that,
Yeah,
right?
and Tino was doing his speech, and it was neat what he was talking about. Like we're all here together. So he was telling the guys to clean up after yourself. Like
he's funny.
Yeah,
and he's
funny.
like has a constant supply of new jokes coming
yeah.
out of the wheelhouse. You'll be highly entertained, no
Cool.
question about it. Israel de la Cruz says maybe Chappie could be the next guest on the show.
maybe so.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Get him and Clay.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Scott Grant, have you considered, this is for you, have you considered creating an all-female angling competition on a charter and posting it up? Fishing has been all-male dominated. A lot of dads have daughters and would love the encouragement. Yeah, there's a lot of dads out there. I mean, I was just with a guy, Albert Ponce, or Ponce, and man, he had his kids there, and the cutest little daughters.
yeah.
Some of those photos are
those-
out there.
They're so cute.
And Jolene, nowadays, especially with the kind of environment kids are growing up in, too much social media, too much staring at a screen, it's so great to
Yeah,
get kids into
it
the great
is.
outdoors, isn't it?
It is.
And so important.
It's definitely important because that's our future, I really think that if kids or young girls are introduced to fishing at a young age, where they can get that excitement going, like even catching mackerel, going on a boat. And another thing I really emphasize is don't take your kids out when it's going to be rough.
I agree.
Pick a good day where it's calm out, and the weather's good. There's all kinds of apps out there to find out what the weather's doing. I'm always on the windy app.
Right. That's probably one of
because
the.
I want to know what's going on.
Nah,
I
we're going to
used
get
to
our
be
teeth
like-
kicked in or
yeah,
what?
But back to the kids.
Yeah.
To get the kids started, and another thing that I think is important is, a lot of women I've talked to, or just in general, like when I was working on the Electra or the Southern Cal or the Chubascos, they'll say, "Oh, I don't like fishing. I get seasick."
Yeah.
You know, and they'll go out one time and they'll get seasick, and then they'll never go back again.
Yeah, because it's an awful feeling.
It is. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And but as far as the question goes, to get a group of women to go fishing, would that be fishing women that haven't fished before, or women that...
No, I think the question is just wide
Yeah.
open. We're just trying
There
to
is-
induce more women into the sport.
And I think like there's a
Well, have you ever considered doing it? I think is the question.
have I?
Would you like to do that?
No, I never have. No.
Would you like to do that?
I would
or-
rather like to help teach. Teach, you know, like, because I work on I work on a 6-pack boat.
You want to give the boat a
Sure.
plug? Go for it.
I work on the long run out of San Diego at Sun Harbor,
Uh-huh.
and it's a 42-foot trawler, and I just started working on Sunday, and like we had a family of 7, 3 generations, and there was a little guy, you know, and
How cool.
and he's like 6 years old, and he was up in the bridge checking out, giving us where the fish were on the meter. Like,
Oh, how
he did that
great.
forever. It was
He
so
must
cute.
have loved it,
It was
huh?
so cute.
Yeah.
And then there was his 10-year-old brother and 12-year-old cousin, and they never fished. And so, you know, just to give the seminar, help them hands-on, you know, cast the line out for them. They did so well. They all caught fish. The little guy was so cute. Oh my God, I had a old Daiwa sea line I threw out there and put it in the rod holder, and we were drifting for halibut in the bay. And he'd have his little finger on the spool, you know, and his little finger's like so small, and he'd let it go, you know, but it was so cute. And, you know, like an experience like that for kids, let alone their parents seeing someone give their kids time.
Right.
And teaching them, you know, fishing.
A new hobby.
And a new hobby.
That can last a lifetime.
Wherever there's water. You know, and they were local. They lived in Encinitas, and the grandparents lived in Kansas City, and they just wanted to go fishing for the day, and it was really, really fun helping the kids and helping anybody really, you know, that doesn't have experience fishing. You know?
Yes. Your sister in Oregon.
Yeah, I have a sister in Oregon.
She says hello to you.
Hello, Janine.
It's great to. Janine's watching in Oregon. Where does she live in Oregon?
Well, she lives in Grants Pass, and I was just there the end of the month in June. It's beautiful. We got the Rogue River there. I've never fished there before, but I'd like to someday. And it gets really hot there in the summertime.
I know it does.
It was very hot.
I know. I went. I saw the Rogue River when I must have been 7 years old, and my parents took us, and we were going on a cruise, and we stopped, and this guy was hooked up to a salmon, and the guy goes, "Well, we'll see if he catches it." Well, it went on and on and on, and the guy goes, "We're staying to see the end of this," and it was this giant salmon. The guy was an hour late, but my brother and I were all over it, like, please don't leave. We want to see the resolution to this.
Neat. That's a beautiful
It was
fish.
really cool. It was really, really a beautiful thing.
Definitely.
And that reminds me, I should tell everybody, we're going to start briefings, freshwater briefings, very soon. In this fall, coming to Freedman Adventures, we'll have freshwater briefings. Not only the morning briefing that we do on saltwater, but we'll be adding freshwater. We may be adding a show in Spanish. Freedman Adventures continues to grow thanks to all of the wonderful people out there. What's the best thing about fishing for you? What do you like more than anything? Or is there just many things?
Well, just like today, the excitement of going out of an area I've really never have fished before. You know, the white sea bass, just having the opportunity to go out on a new boat, catch white sea bass, maybe yellowtail.
So you've done most of your fishing south of Ensenada, or south of Oceanside?
South of Oceanside,
yeah. A lot of south of Ensenada too, I'm sure.
Yep, south of Oceanside.
So you haven't ventured up to this neck of the woods too often?
I haven't.
Are you on this trip tonight because you were going to do this show?
I am on this trip tonight.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
I love it.
I am.
Yeah, because the guys in the front office said, "Who's on the show tonight?" And I mentioned you, and they said, "Oh, great." And I go, "She's on the Freedom tonight." They go, "Oh, even better."
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely. I've never been on the Freedom. I once went on the Apollo when J.J. Garrison had it up in Santa Barbara.
So you fished with JJ?
Just once, one time.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Super
and
good guy.
We fished Santa Rosa. We froze our butts off catching rockfish.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew JJ. He was a deckhand. I think it was on the Pegasus, a kid, and he was working for Joe Chait. Super good guy. And I was always like, I spoke pretty good Spanish, pretty fluent Spanish. His Spanish was impeccable. And I think it was, he spent a year in Costa Rica too. I did too.
Oh, neat.
So we had that, you know, we could
That's
talk
great.
Costa Rica, we could hablar en español if we didn't want somebody to know, or, you know, hey, this guy's a jerk over here. We could say it in
Yeah,
Spanish.
really.
Good guy. And now he's in the commercial albacore.
Oh, yeah, still,
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's doing that. Albacore. Are they ever going to show up again?
I
Did you
don't-
you must have fished albacore, huh?
Well, yeah,
Back in the day?
that's all that was out there.
I know.
Makes me sound sort of old, but when I started fishing in '81, that's, you know, what was going on.
Right.
And but the last albacore I caught was in 2008 out of Oceanside,
Uh-huh.
and that's the last.
What boat was that on?
That was on my friend Mel's boat.
Oh,
That's
private boat, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh.
60-foot Viking
Oh,
out of
well, that's a nice
Oceanside.
one.
It's called the Liquid Liability.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we caught some nice great albacore. But that's the last time I caught
I know,
one.
it's been a long time. I
could have
thought
been-
this year for sure, but now my
know.
hopes are going like,
That's funny.
after July 4th. But they could, you know, part of it is, and it sounds like an excuse. I'm trying to get out of but I feel like, you know, the better water is out past the dumping ground. Nobody's going out there, especially now that you have this kelp patty thing going on. It's so good and so instant that, you know, guys are not going to go down there. All right, what is Jolene's favorite target species? Jeff from the 540 Slingers Club. You don't know Jeff, I don't think.
I may.
Super great guy.
Cool. I'll have to meet
Loves to fish the long 10-foot rod. And he's just, you
I'll
know,
have to meet him.
he's a veteran too. So
Oh, cool. Great.
I
Thank
have
you.
a special place in my, yeah, absolutely. He wants to know, what's your favorite species?
Well, probably bluefin tuna. Yeah, definitely bluefin tuna. But you know, it's funny because you know, everyone has their personal best. Mine is 128 measured from 5-star, and that was in 2014 on one of my charters.
Oh, wow.
And it was a 3-day charter in September, and we were fishing the 43.
Uh-huh.
And there was a bunch of boats out. We were all anchored, and I caught that on my Daiwa 40 with 60-pound.
Boy, you're hitting my sponsor.
I
A full
know.
rack tonight. Good job.
Yeah, and back then it was like a lot of, you know, everyone's using the fluorocarbon to the spectra,
Right.
you know, and so we had like a bit of mono on, but not full mono.
Yeah.
And so we kept getting broken off. We lost fish to anchors, to other anglers. I lost. I got a kite fish handed to me. I lost that to another angler because the fish were so big, doing those circles. And you know, here's a boat right here, and here we are. Guys hooked up. The fish is going this way. Our fish is going that way, and they get tangled up and like gone.
Oh my
God!
God.
We caught 27 of them. But I like catching bluefin. You know, like I really don't care. I'm not worried about catching a bigger one than 128. You know,
Yeah.
it's not about, you know, if it happens, I have the gear for it.
And you'll be happy.
I'll be happy, and
But you're
I'd
not-
like to, but it's not I don't let it bother me. You
Yeah.
know, like it happens, and there's a lot of good anglers out there that each year they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know. But for me, it's just getting on a boat and getting on a school and getting out there quick, because that's what I like to do. And this year I've had you know, I think I have 6 days in, and I have, I think 4 days where I caught a tuna, and there was only 3 or 4 fish caught.
Oh,
And
really?
With like 40 people on a boat, you know, and I felt really good about that because I got one of the 3.
Yeah.
You know,
That makes you feel
and
like you
the one-
accomplished
and
something.
one was, you know, on the Liberty. There's a really good fisherman. What's his name? I forgot his name. But he caught it. He's a good angler. He
Yeah.
fishes on the Liberty in the San Diego, and he caught a 140-pounder. You know, and then it was just tough fishing. But I got one, and I was super happy. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever feel like, is there ever any like backlash because you're a woman that you beat the guys? Do you ever feel any of that or not?
Not really.
I think
Not
most
really.
guys are like rooting for you, aren't
No,
they?
yeah, pretty much.
Maybe you run into some
there's,
schmuck once in a while.
You get on an open party boat and you get. I have found that sometimes you might get a guy that has all the equipment, but he's not doing the right thing, And I'm not. It's not me to judge other anglers.
But you try to help, maybe?
No,
or
I don't
something?
help.
Oh,
I don't
huh.
help certain people. No. I think that it's just time on the water. That's what it boils down to.
For you?
Yeah, for anybody, really.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, that I learn something every time I go fishing.
But
Doesn't matter.
But you got to have an open mind to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know guys that I consider to
Like
be
you.
really great fishermen, and they have that same attitude. Eddie Leland, my buddy, Captain Eddie Leland, is going through a bout of cancer right now, so we're keeping him in our thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
And I've been spending a lot of time with Eddie and enjoying that, but he's a guy. He's always got an open ear, open mind.
Yeah.
Teach me something new.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I mean, if it comes
Yeah,
down to a
'cause
fishing contest with me and Eddie, he kills me. He's good.
Yeah.
But because he's got that open mind
Yeah.
like you.
I think that is so valuable,
In many facets of life, right?
Yeah, definitely. And having a good attitude and, the preparation, like for me, like last night I had a cup of coffee because I had to get my gear ready and I was so tired. I go, well, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee and get my stuff ready. And then this morning I woke up and got up early and did what I wanted to bring, jigs, hooks, I have a mindset of what I want to bring and, I get it prepared and I have to reach that pinnacle of what I want to bring, what I'm thinking, what I want to bring, and what is it going to do for me?
You crack me up because I do the exact same thing. I'm like, should I go to bed right now or should I get a cup of coffee? Because I'm shot. And many times I'll grab a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Because I start my morning briefing, that thing. I start it the night before, researching, writing stuff. Somebody calls me and their kid caught a fish. Well, if I don't write that down by the morning, it's forgotten. And I want to honor that kind of a thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So I'm on the coffee myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm on the bang. Shouldn't be
It's
on
a
that.
lot of work.
I know.
It totally
it's a lot
is.
of fun too, though.
It is.
You know.
It is.
Totally blessed. All right, your daughter wants to know, what is your most memorable catch and/or trip? Is there one trip or one catch that stands out in your mind, and why?
Well, probably last year when I worked on the Southern Cal, we had bluefin tuna. Our first bluefin tuna caught on that boat was 1.5 miles off the beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Southern Cal is what, a half day boat?
It's a half day boat.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God, that's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. And so I'm galley, and a month goes by, and so Ernie's driving the boat, and it's overcast, and he finds some fish, and so I have my own rod on the boat, and I'm allowed to fish. I don't hog the stern, and my reel wasn't spinning very good. And I go, crap, I got to use a rent rod.
Oh, my
those
God.
things have days and days and days on them.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, it's a Daiwa. Good
Oh,
old
well then
Daiwa.
no problem.
And so I butt hook a bait, and I threw it to the corner and got hit. And brought in a 60-pound bluefin.
How cool.
That's one of my memorable.
You were the galley cook?
Yeah.
That's the great thing about being a galley cook when the fish are biting. No one's ordering burgers.
No.
So you can go out and throw a bait,
No,
right?
Yeah. I have a few memorable catches also.
Go ahead.
Well, a lot of them are while working, actually.
Yeah.
I was fishing on the Electra. We had about 12 people out, and afternoon. No, I think it was a 10 to 3, and we were fishing Buck Pipe in Oceanside. It's like a mile off the beach.
Yeah.
And so I won a reel. It's made by Singular. It's called The Truth.
Uh-huh.
And so I have 20-pound test on it, brand new line, and I used a glow in the dark again. The glow in the dark.
Right.
3/4 ounce, and I have one of those thin hooks. I don't know which one it was. And so I throw a sardine off the back, and then I get picked up, And I go, oh boy, what is this? You know, and I fight it, and I brought in a 58-pound white sea bass.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous
Yeah.
fish. Wow.
Yeah.
And that was when?
That was like probably 4 years ago,
Okay.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Another fun catch was when I was working on the Top Gun 80.
And you happen to love Bobby Taft,
I
right?
love Bob Taft. I feel so honored I got to work on that boat.
Yeah. I love Bobby too.
He is a legend. He is like, he doesn't mess around. He's cut and dry. When he's in that wheelhouse, he's game on. And so one time I was up there, I brought my gear, and he's up top there, upstairs, and I get ready to go down the steps. He goes, "Show him how to do it, Jolene," And I thought that was so cool.
That is, I love Bobby Taft.
But
I'm
anyway,
with you.
so this one trip,
I just want to, graphics guy just threw us a $10 bill and said he loves the show. Thank you
all right.
so very much.
Yay.
I can eat tonight.
Yay.
Thanks to this guy. Thank you. It's deeply, deeply appreciated. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I have my pin Fathom 40 that I never really caught anything on. I have a nice Phoenix rod to go with it. And so I pin a bait on, and I have my apron on. It's that picture that you used.
Yeah.
And so I go up to the bow, and everyone's on the starboard side, and I throw a bait out, and I see this boil, and I go, oh, cool, yeah. And I got picked up, and it's a 75-pound bluefin.
Nice.
And yeah, it was, I had to go down the rail, I had to go under everyone and went to the corner. No one's in the back of the boat, and the deckhand said, do you need some help with that? And I go, no, thanks. So anyway, that's one of them.
That's great. I got a feeling you might have a few memories after tonight. Maybe tomorrow on board the Freedom.
I hope so, yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
I'm hoping that's in your future.
Yeah.
Steve Ennis, great memory with Jolene. She was one of the only people to get my dad to smile while taking a picture. His dad was a stoic guy, kind of a macho guy, or what? I was able to take that picture and have it put on a Johnny jig as a memory box for him to keep.
Cool, yeah.
You're part of that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love taking pictures. I've dabbled in photography for a long time, but fishing is it's really fun. And I have the picture on my phone. I could show you later. But his dad, he catches this rockfish, and he just has this smile, yeah, baby, I just captured the moment, and it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite pictures of him.
You just mentioned you captured the moment. You pull fish out when, they've been down in the hold, and then you pull them out and you take a picture. Everybody's tight. You got to get that when you can see the excitement exudes from a person's face. You can get all that. You're right. That's the time to get it. And the Dorado is still really colorful and beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why when I don't fish anymore, basically, I shoot photos or video.
Yeah.
Because I want to capture that.
Yeah,
and there's a weird thing about that's almost like fishing in a way. When you capture those moments, you feel like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. When it's busy out there on deck, you want to get a picture with your fish, and then there's blood on it, and there's people in the background, and the deckhand, wants to throw down the chute. But I really like the nighttime, when it's dark out, taking pictures of catches, and just, when it's cleaned up, when they bring the fish out in the back, and everyone can, capture their moment. Yeah,
absolutely. What would you say to the dads and moms out there who are listening and saying, I want to get my daughter involved in this? Would you encourage that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage taking your daughter or son.
Kids in general.
Well, let's just keep it on the girls.
Okay, yeah,
subject
because
it's
a male-dominated thing.
Well,
still.
yeah, it is. It's probably 30 to 1 sometimes.
Yeah.
But I would take them on a half-day boat. Find your local harbor. Call up, ask questions. Look at the weather. They rent tackle, or you can buy them their own setup for Christmas. A lot of times, I'll see parents taking their kids out, and they'll say, "Oh, that'll be a good Christmas present." Get them their own gear. Get them their own tackle box. Put their name on it, and just take them fishing, like, once a month. Even if it's on a pier or off the beach, somewhere. It doesn't always have to be on a boat.
Absolutely. Your daughter said to say hello to Oliver and Penny. They're watching you live and they want to go fishing.
All right, let's go.
Who are those people? Oliver and Penny? That doesn't ring a bell with you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, Kat. They don't even.
Some new friends.
Okay,
Maybe it's my daughter's friends.
Okay, perfect. Oliver and Penny.
All right, Oliver and Penny.
So you mentioned like taking kids and getting them seasick is a really bad idea. I couldn't agree more. The patch, though, I don't know. Can kids use the patch? Are kids allowed to use that?
I'm not sure.
But I know my friend Bob Gifford. He's probably watching tonight. He could not go fishing because he was chronically seasick, and it ruins everything.
I know, it's
he
terrible.
Got the patch.
I used to get sick.
I've been sick, and I'm not sure. The times I was sick was sleep deprivation also, like running a commercial boat, and just had no sleep on day 3, on the wheel, driving, and just like, I've had enough. And then I was okay after that, but it's an awful feeling.
It's terrible.
It really is.
It's the worst. Well, I'm a prime example as a kid. I remember my dad and my grandpa took me out on, I think my grandpa's boat out of Oceanside, and to go rock fishing, and I was like 8 years old, and it's, and I got seasick. I used to get car sick when I was little. And so then after that, I never got to go anymore.
Yeah. Right.
And so, and I used to get seasick. Ugh, it's no fun.
Yeah, I know.
It's no fun.
My poor dad, he would get seasick in the harbor. And that poor guy, he went on a 4-day trip. He didn't even like to fish that much. But my brother, he used to take us to the pier at least. He got us hooked on that. We fished the pier. Then we got asked to be pinheads. So and the poor guy took us on the Chubasco something, or I forget the Chubasco. And it was 4 days of misery for the poor guy. In fact, he came up like on the 4th day, and the galley cook goes, "Who the hell are you?" He was down there the whole time throwing up in a bucket.
Yeah,
poor guy.
So I didn't get to go fishing anymore, but my brother did.
Frank Chapman says the best seasick remedy is pickled ginger. I give it to my customers all the time to help them out.
That sounds good. I love ginger.
Have you ever had that, pickled ginger?
I've had the candy before. But
does that really work? I guess it does.
It does.
You wouldn't put that up there.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't.
That's interesting.
Definitely. I take Benadryl if I know it's going to be.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
And that works?
It has the same ingredient. Dramamine has that sleepy ingredient.
Yeah, right.
And it works.
My wife takes that when she wants to go to sleep. Yeah, or she listens to my show, one of the two. Because she doesn't speak English,
right.
so she's like 2 seconds in.
They used to have a prescription you could get. It was called Scopace. And it was a tablet.
I kind of remember that.
Oh, that was the best.
Really?
And
what happened to that?
They took it off the market.
Because there was side
I don't
effects
know.
or something?
The astronauts used to use it. But it's a form of the patch in a pill form.
Yeah.
You can probably get it in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Can you get me some, please?
I'll see what I can do. Will I be arrested at the border?
I hope not. But my
Jolene Thompson said it was okay. Yeah, put your hands behind your back, buddy.
Yeah, my friend Mel that I fished with for a long time, she's coming out to fish tonight too.
That's great.
And her and her guy have a 60-foot Viking, and they had their kids are growing up now, but they would take kids out, and she would give them one of those Scopaces, and boom, it worked.
Wow.
And now they took it off the market. This was a while back.
Yeah. Take me back to the moment when you started fishing. I understand it was on a bait receiver or a bait dock or something like that.
Yes.
Take me back to that moment.
Okay, I was. This was in 1981. I was 21 years old. I just happened to be on the bait receiver at Oceanside Harbor.
Yeah, what were you doing there?
I was fishing.
Okay, so you were into fishing at this time.
Fishing with some guy. And so Mark Arnos, who is the captain and owner of the Pacific Voyager,
And that's the boat you were just on at the Coronado Islands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mark was my neighbor, and I knew what he did.
Yeah.
I knew what he did.
You didn't tell anybody, I hope.
No.
No, I'm only kidding.
No. And so this one day, I had never really met him. We said hi, barely.
Yeah.
And so I was on the bait dock fishing, and he pulls up on the PM half day on the brand new Electra. And he goes, "Get on the boat." And so
You're like,
whoa. That is my beginning. That is my start.
Mark Arnos is the guy that
day.
got you into fishing.
Yep.
You need to say, I
Hi,
don't
Mark.
know.
Mark,
Like, I'm,
Mark, if you give a chat if you fished with Mark, and he is the best.
Who likes fishing with Mark Ornos
Yeah.
on the Pacific Voyager? And his
And-
son is running the boat now
Yes,
too, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And so went on a half day, and then I go, hey, can I come again? You know, and he goes, sure. And we went on overnight trips and caught albacore. And then in 1982 we had El Nino, and oh my God, we loaded up the boat with yellowtail, yellowfin, dorado, skipjack. The albacore, they went adios because
Yeah,
the water
water's
was so
too
darn
warm, right?
warm.
Yeah.
And then he had to buy his own boat, and so Charlie Lesbrance sold him the Tortuga,
Uh-huh.
and he started his own charter business. And then some of us, when I had a lot of friends that surfed, and they liked to fish, you know, when the surf was small. And
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Hey, how's everyone?
Hi,
doing?
Brandon.
I just wanted
Good.
to stop by and say hi.
Good to see
Brandon.
you.
Good to see you guys.
good to see you too.
Go ahead,
Alright.
Jolene.
And so we started chartering with Mark.
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, go ahead.
We would get a bunch of guys together. I was the only girl, and we'd go out fishing. You know, it'd be rock fishing or maybe yellowtail fishing. This one time we took the boat. It was Halloween night, and we took the Tortuga to the bait receivers in San Diego, Point Loma. Got loaded up on bait. It was Halloween night. I had this pumpkin I carved. It was lit up, flat as this table. We went down to Mexican waters, all of us for the first time, and we loaded up on yellowfin tuna.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was a good memory. But
Man,
then,
that's right. Yeah, November fishing. How
yeah,
bitchin'
yeah,
is that, huh?
uh-huh. And
Yeah.
then there wasn't anything else around. Bluefin weren't around.
Right.
And then he bought a boat called the Voyager, and he had the Voyager at Oceanside Harbor for a very short time, and then he took it to Seaforth. And so we all followed him down to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
And I started chartering 2 trips a year, became 3 trips a year. And then not too long after that, he bought the Pacific Voyager. And we had a trip in 2002, we were 85 miles down. And we caught, we were fishing for an albacore with 25-pound test. I was using Pete Gray's Trinidad 40 with 40-pound on it.
Was Pete on the boat?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
And we started hooking up these albacore, and then all of a sudden these bluefin show up. And we're getting hooked on, you know, we're getting like spooled or whatever.
Big
and
ones, huh?
big ones.
Yeah.
And everyone's jumping up to 40. And these fish, we ended up catching 104 bluefin tuna.
Whoa, that's a nice hit.
This is in 2002. My mom found a picture of me, and it was written on the back. And these fish were, there's 60 pounders, 70s, 80s, and up to 100.
Wow.
They were like all double gaffers.
Wow.
And we caught 41 albacore.
What a nice hit.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was just, I don't know how to explain something like that, because it didn't carry on after that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so,
You know.
yeah, I chartered the Pacific Voyager for 35 years.
Yeah, you've been friends with Mark
Yeah.
for all those years. What is it that you like about his operation?
Well, it's probably the way he operates his boat and his crew, because he had Jody Morgan was a deckhand that owned the Apollo.
Yeah.
Greg Garvette, the Aztec, was a deckhand. Then they became captains.
Yeah.
And then Jody on the Voyager, which he just sold the Voyager.
Yeah.
And then now he has Charlie Lesbrance that was in that picture. He's been with Mark for a long time now. He's now a tugboat driver here, I think maybe in Long Beach.
Uh-huh.
And now his son Mitch, on my last 2-day, 4th of July, it was Mark, captain, and his son was the second captain.
Oh, how great.
And that is just like, it
see that.
made my heart like go, oh my God, this is like so special.
Going from one generation to the next,
and
right?
the way and the group of people I get on my trips, that's another thing Mark loves. And you know, half a dozen of them are from the old days of fishing on the Tortuga.
Oh, wow. So it's
And,
the continuity of
yeah.
that and the friendships and
Yep.
everything. Is it all women or is it?
Oh no.
It's
No,
whoever,
no,
right?
No.
It's just
No.
good people,
It's
decent people.
Actually, this last trip, there was 5 of us gals on the boat. And my friend Mayoma, she used to fish with me. I introduced her to fishing in like late 90s on the producer. I had a charter, so I go, we worked at a golf course together.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, you want to go fishing? You know, like introducing, you know, someone to fishing.
Yeah, right.
And so she goes, sure. So I go, well, I think I'll take her on a practice run trip, you know. So we went on the producer, and Buzz was on the boat, and she catches 3 albacore, you know. And
Buzz Brizendine you're talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she, you know, she fished for a long time. She hadn't fished for 6 years. She came out and she caught a yellowtail, and, you know, she was back at it. And again, Shannon, that's deaf. I invited her, you know, to go fishing with us. And Mimi came. Mimi is a great angler.
She is. She's nuts about fishing too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you were just on the Pacific Voyager at the Coronado Islands with her. She never stops fishing, does she?
No, she doesn't. And she'll, like, if the fish aren't biting, she'll drop down and catch a sheephead or whatever might be down there.
Right, right.
Yeah, I met Mimi when I worked on the Chubasco. And there's a gentleman that used to fish on the boat, and he would fish in San Diego, and he met Mimi, so he would bring Mimi to Oceanside to fish, and that's how I met Mimi, and that's how we became friends.
And the way I met her is, I mentioned a guy named Scott Bucher. If I see him come up on this, sure. I'll point at him for you. But a lot of people know Scott. They call him Scotty. And so he's got an apartment in San Diego. He works on the Ranger 85, and his roommate is Sean Hardigan.
Okay.
And Mimi's over there all the time. So I met both of them and just fell in love with
Sean's great.
Sean's great.
He's on the Mission Bell.
Right, exactly. He runs the Mission Bell, and then Mimi's just really a delightful person.
Mimi is fishing every day.
I know. She walking down the docks. She's fishing. She
likes to go crappie fishing.
Bass fishing.
She's fishing all the time. She's great. I just adore her, and she has such a good attitude on the boat, you know, and she's just, every trip she gets better and better.
Yeah, and she's very nice, too, to boot,
she's
right?
Super nice, yeah.
I see her catching yellowfin croaker on the docks at night and all this
stuff. Or
spotties. Yeah. She just never stops.
No.
I think she likes fishing more than Sean.
I think so.
She might take that job over if he's not careful.
Yeah, right?
And she actually was a deckhand on the Malahini on a couple of our trips when we had Freedman Adventures trips.
Yeah, you're going to tell me about your Malahini trip.
Well, that's coming up Friday. There's a few spaces left, and I'm really excited because this is looking so good on the kelps right now. The kelps are loaded up, as you know, because you're down there in San Diego all the time. And, you know, Oz Romero, he told me that the Tomahawk had such great fishing. I've been getting all kinds of reports, and a lot of nice grade fish. There's a lot of that 5-pound stuff, but a lot of 8 to 15 pound stuff, and up to over 30 pounds, some of these kelp patty yellowtail.
Yeah. And
that's pretty exciting.
A few Dorado, and maybe you might get some bluefin.
Or a yellowfin, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't you love that smorgasbord?
Yeah.
Where you go up on a kelp, you don't know what's waiting. You know, maybe something's waiting.
What do you call it when a baseball player gets a single, double, triple, and a home run?
What do you call that? He hit for the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a big baseball guy, but I do know that. I played a lot of baseball, but I'm not a big fan. But yeah, you hit for the cycle, you know, or catch for the cycle.
Definitely. Yeah, I really want to catch a Dorado. I want to catch it.
Have you caught them before?
Oh, yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I remember I was on the Conquest, and Pete Thomas was the outdoor writer for the LA Times, and I knew he was there with a big old camera, you know? So this big flathead flashed across the stern, and it was like every bit of 30, and Joe Chait goes, hey, and he has a mackerel in the dipper.
Oh.
And I took it and I pinned it on. I threw it. That frickin' thing turned on it and ate it. It was a 38-pound Dorado.
Oh my God, that's a bull.
Front page of the LA Times. I was like,
wow, how old
Lord,
were you?
thank you. And I was doing 976 so
okay.
it just focused more light on that,
great.
which was great. It was great. Kind of like this Mark and Paul interview where they found Desiree. I don't know if you've seen that yet. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we did. I had Mark Paisano on the show.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay,
yeah, okay.
So that
God, that was an amazing story.
Our dopey little fishing podcast went boom.
Wow.
You know, so I was blessed. That is for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
Frank
story.
Chapman, wouldn't that be a trifecta? I think a trifecta is 3. So we were talking about what were we talking about? Dorado, yellowfin, bluefin, and yellowtail, right?
Yeah.
I think the cycle. Do you know what Captain Bill is targeting on your trip? Abraham, it's got to be kelps. But, you know, I mean, the only other alternative would be going to the Coronado Islands. So I'm guessing kelps and all those species that are out there. There's been some bluefin around, not biting that well. There's been copious amounts of yellowtail, really good bite on that, fishing 30 to 40 pound fly line, fluorocarbon, working really, really well. And then, as Jolene was mentioning, you know, you got that smorgasbord. You got those 4 species, a possibility for any one of those. Kai fish killer, ginger capsules work. Was sick on the Pacific Dawn, took 3 of them.
Good to know.
Good in 20 minutes.
All right.
That's a great tip.
I like that idea.
The Freeman Adventures family striking back once again. So, what is your favorite boat to fish on? Is it the Liberty?
Yeah, probably the Liberty. Yeah.
You have another.
It's actually my. I haven't been on an overnight trip. It's always been like a 5 to 5. And caught some nice like 60-pound tuna a few times. I like that boat, and I love going on the Old Glory.
Well, of course, the Eggs Benedict I hear are out of this world.
And I haven't been yet. I love Clay and Junior on the Old Glory, and Bill and Rod, and I think Doug might still be on the bait tank there, but Ocean Odyssey. Yeah, there's a lot of great. I love the Top Gun 80, of course.
Yeah, with Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby and I go back to being at the Fred Hall show once, and he had an incredible catch of yellowtail. And everybody at the Fred Hall show in March was always listening. You know, everybody was listening. Hey, is the season going to start? And he started it that year. And we went out to my car and sat in my car and did a 976 tuna update interview kind of thing. And I'll never ever forget that. And I saw Bobby recently. I was on the boat for the military thing and talked to him. And he still had that fond memory about it also.
Scotty, yeah, that's a nice platform.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. And Bobby's knowledge is second to none.
Yeah, definitely.
He still hasn't lost a step either. He's a hard, good fisherman.
No, he's funny.
He
one
is.
time, like he likes his coffee, you know. One time I put cinnamon in the coffee. And he goes, Jolene, get up here. He goes, what's wrong with the damn coffee? I go, I just put cinnamon in it. He goes, don't you ever do that again. And so we just joke about it now, you know. Like I'll say, hey, how's your coffee? And he'll laugh.
Ruben Lopez is saying that it's catching a grand slam, not hitting for the cycle.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I think you're right,
good,
Ruben.
Good grand slam.
Thank
okay.
you.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I love you. You know that. We just sent you something, by the way, for you won something, Ruben, so it's in the mail to you. So when you look at the San Diego fleet this year, are you in tune? Do you talk to those guys a lot? Are they having a good year, a tough year? I'm talking business-wise.
Oh.
I know it's tough this year. It's tough on these guys. It's tough.
I don't know.
There's a little bit of this perfect storm going on with high fuel costs, and then people don't have the discretionary income this year.
There's been a lot of bad weather.
Oh my God, the wind this year has been. I've been
terrible
on those trips.
Well, we went on my 2-day on the Pacific Voyager. Mark called me. I was in my car, you know, with all my stuff ready to drive down. He goes, Jolene, call everyone and get their passports. I go, what? You know, and it wasn't a what because we changed he changed the game plan. It was like I haven't taken passports in a while because we always fish offshore. But anyway, it all worked out, but it was because the weather was so crappy.
I know.
Who wants to get beat up? You
I don't know. I'll endure it if there's fish to be caught. You know, I'm okay with that. But just getting beat up, I'm not. You know, I'm not into that.
No, I like to see boats full and, you know, so they can operate to the fullest and, you know, put some counts on the board.
Right, and you know, it pains me to see the guys going through a tough time, but hopefully we're going to have a really good fall bite.
So.
And some of the people with discretionary income problems right now because of inflation and, you know, I mean, you got to fill your gas tank before you go fishing, and all of these things. They get tempted into spending some of that money if there's a wide open yellowfin bite or something.
The excitement, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Grant, spinning, reel, or conventional for teenagers. So people just coming in, what do you think? What should they do?
Well,
I have my own opinion on it. What's yours?
Just like the other day, we had the trip with the family and the kids. We use spinning reels, you know. I've learned on a spinning reel. It's easier to operate, but I really encourage that if you had someone on the boat that wants to show you how to use a conventional reel, it can be done.
Yeah.
You know, it can be done.
But it takes a little longer.
It takes time.
Yeah.
You know, of course, learning how to cast
is another
but,
time consuming.
You know, having good line on the reel, you know, with some weight on it so they can get that feel just to drop down. You know, I really think a spinning reel would be good for a kid.
So now I'm going
and
to...
a teenager.
I'm going to give you my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree 100%.
All right.
And Daiwa makes products where, I mean, you get 40 pounds of drag on their spinning reels, which means you're going to get pulled overboard. Yeah, it's too
and
much.
another reel is a bait caster.
Yeah.
A bait caster, I think, would be ideal because you can keep the spool open while you're, say, you're drifting, you know, or you got a live bait on a, you know, an egg sinker. You can still let that spool go.
Yeah.
Spinning reels, I do not like spinning reels. You can't get the feel of a bait.
But
taken,
yet you suggest it for...
Well, just for kids.
Right.
You know, just to get that.
But for you personally.
Yeah, for me, no.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to get rid of this stigma about fishing with Sam. I'm working with Sam De La Torre, and both of us feel like, you know, what's the problem with fishing with a spinning reel? Having said that, I think because I've been raised fishing conventional reels, I get that same feeling as you. It's like kind of weird. Like, you know, I'm not in contact with my bait.
Or your line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can pinch it between two fingers and all that, but it's just not the same. But
yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good, you know, to get a teenager, like take them rock fishing and put an 8-ounce sinker on it and then just let it go down and he can feel the bite, you know, and bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But for like fly lining and drifting, I don't think it's a good idea.
Chappie from the Old Glory. Do you know him?
No.
He says fishing's all about the bait tank. It's choosing the right bait. It's the key to catching a fish, and there is a great deal of truth to that, right?
Definitely. I stand at the bait tank. I'm ready. I have my rod up here, my reel's right here. I got my hook in my left hand because I'm right-handed. You know, it's just automatic. Pick that fast bait, like you mentioned the other morning on morning briefing, you know, and then, you know, just being ready. Like if the deckhand's not on the deck, don't even touch a bait, you know, but just let it off the back.
Right, exactly.
And then again, another thing I was talking about is like kelp patty fishing. You know, we've got a lot of patties out there. And people want to just like, they want to walk, like I've done this many times. They want to walk up towards the boat, meet that kelp patty and throw out.
Yeah.
While the boat's still moving, and that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, because you end up,
and
right?
all these lines are all together and crossed
Angled
over.
up. So, and you're out of the game.
And so if you want to just, you know, be at the bait tank, get a good bait, just go right off the middle of the stern. Just throw it back there because the fish are going to be, those patties are going to just come right to the back, not to the back, but to the sides. And there's fish around. They're going to see that bait and they're going to go after it.
The other thing you can do, I think you'll agree, is go to the bow and then cast straight off the bow. So when you drift down, you're on that pad. Hopefully you get a bite pretty quick on that. That will work also.
You can do the sneak attack. We call that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially on a boat. Have you ever seen the bow of the Malahini?
No.
Oh my God, there's so freaking much room up there for throwing iron, and it's almost like two different boats. Like what's going on in the stern is like an entirely different.
I love the bow.
Yeah, me too.
I love the bow.
I do too.
I really do. So, you know, like I go up to the bow quite a bit when I'm bluefin tuna fishing. You know, there might be a couple.
You've seen it before. I know you have. You're in the bow alone, and it's quiet up there. You don't have the engines.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
boy. Oh yeah. No.
Don't tell anybody.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll boil right friggin' 20 feet away from you.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. You're way out there, and yeah, it's just so peaceful to be on a boat, you know, with good weather and camaraderie. Being on the bow of the boat with your friends, or even alone, or just just viewing the ocean, you know. One year, in fact, that one picture of the the yellowfin with Charlie Lesperance.
Yeah.
That was a charter.
I think that's the cover of the video of this show.
Yeah,
so.
that was one of my charters, and it was a June charter. And so we got word from, I think it was the American Angler that they were 150 miles down. And so Mark says, Mark, it was so funny. He likes to, like, we're all there at Seaforth and we're all ready, you know, and here he comes up, so we all huddle together. And he was talking about going to St. Clemente Island, and we don't say a word. Like, are you crazy?
Like you don't want to go there?
He goes, well, there's fish 150 miles down. And he goes, that's what we're going to do, I believe. That's what you guys want to do. But anyway.
And how many day trip is this?
2 day.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a ride down from the 2 day.
Yeah, we went down. We went down ended up going 170 miles, and we.
My hat's off to that man.
We left at night. We got to the school, Bluefin School, probably about 2 o'clock. I dropped down on the port side, get picked up. It's a yellowfin tuna.
Oh my God, how bitchin', huh?
Yeah, and it was, you know, like, it was the first yellowfin caught of the year, big deal, you know what I mean? But
yeah, it's great though.
It was all bluefin, and here's this yellowfin.
Lost yellowfin tuna, right? Like
and,
that albacore last year.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what was that all about?
And then, you know, like the peace and serenity that we have on the ocean, the next morning we woke up, it's overcast, and there's a pod of 3 killer whales, you know, that were just in view right there. They came up to the boat. It was just so neat.
Those
you know?
spectacles of nature are
it was glassy.
so memorable.
You don't get to see that very often.
By the way, there's a ton of people watching this show. More questions coming in.
Okay.
And it's not because I'm here, it's because you're here.
I don't know.
I'm telling you right now.
Let's
I know it is. And then Chappie says, after you spend all that time choosing a really good hot bait, and this sounds counterintuitive, but he's absolutely right. And he's out there all the time.
Yes, he is.
So I defer to him, but he's right. Then you change that bait if it doesn't get a bite within a certain amount of time.
Good.
You spent all this time, you found this hot bait.
Yep, you're right, Chappie.
But there's something wrong with it. If it's not getting bit, do it again.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more your chances go up in terms of
You're
getting
right,
a bite.
yep.
Do you agree?
I totally agree with my brother.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to argue with him.
Never.
He might, who knows? He won't make eggs Benedict. The bow is where the cooks fish. I was thinking, you know, it's funny that he absolutely read my mind when you were talking. I know you cook. Yeah, that's where you go. You don't go back with the passengers and hey, move over.
Yeah,
hey,
no, you
get out of my way. I'm trying to throw a bait.
Right.
You go up there and catch one.
You have respect for the customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you catch some tuna off the back.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
Exactly. Kai Fish Killer, I think spinners are best for light line, 8 pound or lighter on the lake. They shine on little lure or bait weight. So he likes it light, but you know, Kai, you can fish. I mean, you can catch a 60, 70, 80, 90 pound bluefin or bigger on the gear that is available now. And I have no problem with people using it. I remember being a deckhand on the Redondo Special. Some guy with his 2 kids would walk on and the crew, oh, look at this duck.
Coffee grinder.
So you've made fun of this guy in front of his kids, humiliated him.
Not good.
On a business level, it's dumb.
No.
And then just to broaden the sport and get more people into it, I'm all for spinners.
Yeah. I don't judge, you know, what people use. You know, it's like.
I judge people.
Go ahead and bring one. You know, you might want to use it to throw a popper out, you know?
Right. There's no better way to fish a popper.
Yeah.
Jeff Yeoman's 540 Slinger. The Malahini has the best bow for throwing surface irons. It is perfect. Surface irons, poppers, any of that stuff. I know a whole bunch of guys are going to be up there on Friday. Dennis and some of the guys that join us, they're always up there in that bow. I'll be up there too.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think that guys are using the cold snipers more to cast out as a jig effect rather than the old school jigs sometimes?
I think so, but you know, some of the guys that are my age, they stick with the old stuff and they still get bit on it. But you know, new stuff and the marketing's out there about cold snipers and Daiwa Sakanas and all that, so they use that. But Jeff is a guy that'll throw a Tatty 45 and get a bite, you know, and there's been guys that have used all kinds of stuff for that deep water bluefin and gotten bites. So some of it's marketing and some of it is that the old stuff still works.
Definitely does.
Sister, don't forget about Mom. Say hello to your mother.
Hello, Mom.
How's your mom?
My mom is 86 years old.
How's she doing? Okay?
She's doing good.
Can I say hi to her?
Yeah, you
What's
sure
her
can.
name?
Her name is Rita.
Rita. All my best. Friedman Adventures family, all of them. Send you all our very, very best. And we're blessed to have your daughter on with us here today. All right, cryptocurrency. Hello, my fellow anglers. Same to you, everyone. Let's hit the like button for this great show.
Yeah.
Please
How many
hit the
likes do
like
we have?
button.
How
We
many-
got 27. We need to get
That's
up to
it?
50.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because some guys just watch the show. That I don't think of it.
Well,
Sometimes when I'm watching a show, like I
How
watch.
can you press the like button when you're watching it on
You can
TV?
do it. You can do it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
a
a thing, right?
That's a problem. Yeah. So hit that like button if you can. And what I put up in the very beginning is we're like 14 short of 4,000 subscribers.
Wow.
I'd love to hit that 4,000.
Yeah,
number.
let's do it tonight.
Whoa, there go the numbers. It's up to 30 now. 32.
Yeah.
We love you. Thank you so much. It really helps us a lot.
Get on your phones and push the like button.
And if you haven't subscribed, if we could hit 4,000 tonight, see those birthday hats over there?
Oh, yeah.
You and I are going
Oh.
to put those on
All right,
and start
let's do
dancing.
it. Let's
you know,
do
like,
it.
that would be so much fun. All right, Scott Dickerson. This thing is a pain in the neck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, a Marine made that for me.
Nice.
Great guy, and he sent that to me and went way out of his way. So that's gonna I'm gonna throw that in
I
my
was thinking that
coffin.
somebody should make you push the like button little.
Hey, that's a
thing,
good
or,
idea.
You know, like a big.
Well, look what Israel de la Cruz mentioned it. Now we're almost up to 40 here.
Cool, good
So,
job.
well, I love you
Jose.
guys. Really, really do. Thank you so much. Scott Dickerson, spinning reel with a bait feeder or bait runner, best for live bait fishing if you fish a spinning reel. Scott's absolutely right. That does help a great deal. Dino Richetti. Dino's a great guy. I think he's going to be, yeah, he said, see you Friday, Phil.
Cool.
I love the guy. He's
All
such a
right.
nice guy. Good evening, Phil and Jolene. Awesome show tonight. Does Jolene like to throw the surface iron? And what is her favorite iron, rod, and reel? See you Friday. See you Friday. Dino, love you. Do you like to fish the iron?
Well, it's funny. I haven't fished the old school iron in a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I have a CalStar. I don't know the numbers of it.
I'm bad on all that, too.
But I have a custom rod someone made me. It's 8 foot, and I actually used a Cold Sniper, like a 120 ounce, and got a nice yellowtail my last trip out. And
So you're fishing the Cold Sniper, too?
yeah,
huh?
I like throwing those things.
Yeah, they get bit.
I don't know. I just, like I don't feel like my confidence. I can cast, but there's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
And so I rather not do it myself.
Yeah. You mean fishing iron?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can run up to the bow is a good place to do it.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're talking about, though. Unless you're on one of these 540 slinger trips where everybody's fishing the iron
Uh-huh.
and then you feel comfortable. One thing about fishing the iron that people make a mistake about safety-wise is keep your eye on that jig at all times. You're not going to miss the water. I guarantee you won't miss that. But
right.
some guys will look back and then they'll look at the water. And meanwhile, some guys walked in
Yeah.
and they end
Not
up with a
good.
jig in their eye or
Yeah.
something like. Speaking of emergencies on boats, I have this vision of you saving somebody's life and performing CPR on a gentleman. Tell us about that.
I did. I was working on the Chubasco, and this was about probably 3 years ago, and we went rock fishing. We were off of Leucadia, probably an hour and 10 minutes from home. And there's a couple on the boat, Kathy and Ron Thompson, and he's 80 years old, and that's his wife, and they've come out a few times, and I would help them, fish, and they had, their reels were spinners, and they didn't have enough line to get down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And so I let him use one of my rods.
Yeah.
And everyone, there was probably 20 people on the boat, and we're catching fish. And he caught 2 at a time, and I took a picture of him, and then he hands me the rod. He goes, I think I'm going to go sit down. And so I take my rod, and I cast it out and drop it down. And then I look over, and his wife, he sat down on the engine hatch thing,
Yeah.
like this. He's sitting down like this. And his wife came up to him, and she goes, run.
You were watching this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was reeling in real quick, and someone took my rod, and then I had learned CPR through the Oceanside Senior Anglers Club not too long ago, about a month beforehand. And so I said, is there a nurse or a doctor on the boat? No response. I go, okay, I got to get into action.
Yeah.
It's like automatic.
Yeah.
And so I went down in the galley, got a cushion. A couple of us helped him lay on the ground, on the cushions.
Yeah.
on the deck rather, and I started CPR, and he responded.
Thank
and
God.
He started breathing.
Thank God you were there. You were the
Yeah.
angel that somebody put in his
And
path.
I told the captain David, and Chris Hartman was our deckhand, and they pulled the anchor up, and by that time I was giving him CPR, and he came back. And then if you ever give CPR, and you probably learned this, if you do get certified, that sometimes they want to throw up, put them on their side.
Yeah.
And so then the Harbor Patrol boat called me on my phone and said, "Where are you guys at?" And we were off of Tamarack area, and they got there with paramedics, and they got on the boat and they took over. And what happened was he had a patch on, and he was taken to the hospital. And so I talked to his wife, and she said that he was dehydrated.
Uh-huh.
He didn't drink enough water.
Yeah.
And that patch can, I believe,
because added the dehydration?
Yeah, because for people that wear contacts, sometimes their eyes will get real dried out.
And they get cotton mouth, right?
Yeah.
Did I hear that? I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, and so,
So that's got to be a
it was
moment
cool.
that you'll cherish forever, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you
was
saved the
just-
guy's life.
Yeah, I did, but it was like not really, I did what I had to do, and it just came naturally.
Well, you're very humble about it, and I appreciate that. And that's what makes you who you are, a very, very special person that way. But you still saved a guy's life. And him and his wife are just finishing up dinner tonight because you were there at that time.
True.
And pointing the finger back at me now, for years I've been saying I need to take a CPR course, and I haven't done it. Maybe this will finally be the moment where I do it before I plots, because I'm getting up in age, and I would, because I've often thought, what do you do if that happens? And then I'm standing there like a dummy, like I could have taken that course and saved somebody's life.
You also, I actually got recertified for my job I do, and so I also learned about saving someone that's choking.
Yeah.
Like an infant.
Heimlich maneuver,
infant, teenager, or adult, and using the machine.
Yeah.
I got the name of it.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
super important, right? Yeah. Have you ever had to save anybody's life choking to death like that?
No.
No?
No. Not yet.
Yeah. God, I remember as a kid eating a piece of bacon. I remember. And it was there's a piece of bacon here, and then there's like a string connected to it. You know what I'm talking about? And instead of like, oh my God. And you just like, the panic that sets in is like, oh, my mom came over and did something, like, you idiot. Don't eat the bacon that way. Anyway. All right, let's see. Kai Fish Killer. I think the bigger stuff, spinners, would be awkward to rail the rod. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
True.
You can't rail rod. It's all like the old days. Like when guys would say, "Don't let that rod touch the rail." Like whenever you did that back in the old days, guys would be calling you some very pejorative terms about being a wimp and what's your frickin' letting your rod.
The rail makes fishing so much fun. When you're flat falling.
Yeah.
And you're bringing it. I actually caught my first flat fall tuna on the Freedom this year.
Oh, you did on this one?
No, not the Freedom. I'm sorry, the Fortune.
Yeah.
The Fortune.
Okay. Yeah.
And I couldn't get the monkey off my back.
Yeah.
And I finally,
how'd that feel? Good?
It was great, because you're cranking it in and you're on the rail, and then it goes boom.
Oh
and
my
you're
God. Thank God, right? It's such a good feeling. Cryptocurrency, spinners are great. I think it sounded better when fish take the drag. No backlash. Bait swims better. You can cast farther away from the boat with live bait. My son Braden says hi. I say hi to Braden.
Braden.
You want to say hi to Braden?
Hi, Braden.
Braden, thanks for watching, and great advice. I get too much line twist, says Kai Fish Killer. So, hey, I like fish. I don't fish spinning reels, but I think I need to dedicate a season to fishing with spinning reels. I do fish spinning reels when I fish the surf.
Yeah, right.
I'm down there doing the surf.
That's like automatic,
And I can't imagine fishing the surf with a convention. That would be a
no
nightmare, right?
My dad, he was a squidder guy. And
you mean a pen squidder?
Yeah, pen squidder.
Right, I remember those reels.
God, this is so long ago. Him and I walked from my house in Oceanside.
Yeah.
And we were west of the railroad tracks, and we walked across the trestle and went surf fishing. And he has a big 10-foot rod, and with a squitter, and he puts on an old anchovies this damn thing.
I know I got to get that thing.
He puts on a couple of those salty dead anchovies you buy in a package.
Yeah, right.
And he brought in a 36-inch halibut.
Really?
Yeah.
Fish in the surf?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And he's a squitter guy.
Yeah. And he fished with the squitter in the surf?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yellowtail fishing. We went on the Oceanside 95 back in '92. He was hooked up to a yellowtail on his surf rod, pretty much, with a squitter,
Right.
And but the old school reels, like when you were a kid, if you had a Mitchell Garcia, you were in. Right.
I mean, Penn Jigmaster was the thing that we all had and all fished with. And it's funny, I caught plenty of albacore with it. I caught plenty of yellowtail with it. Never had a problem really. So, part of it is the evolution of gear and how good it has become now.
It's small.
Small, and now with Spectra, the line capacity. You remember the days when you'd have to splice throw a rod overboard, or do you remember that?
Well, I saw it on TV.
Yeah. And it was crazy. Michael Fulks had some great stuff on that. It's absolutely like too much. You're throwing a rod overboard, and it's $1,000 rod and reel, and there it goes, and you're hoping you're going to get it back.
Yeah.
Most cases you did, but now the gear is so good that people who come into the game, like if you were to bring somebody new out bluefin tuna fishing, I'm convinced on their first trip they could land a bluefin with the proper tutoring.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Dale, he's a great guy. Dale's a great guy because he loves Mexico like me. I thought I was Mr. Mexico.
Yeah.
This guy will ride his bike with his daughter down through Tijuana and all over the place and go to these great food places and everything else. And Dale came to an event we had where we were casting in the park and brought a wheelchair for our Mexico efforts,
that's neat.
which is great because at some point in time here in the future, probably January 6th, we're going to go down to Mexico.
Great.
And Jolene, you have no idea how much stuff I have now. I don't know. We got to get it across the border.
Do you need some volunteers?
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right.
One of these days, what I think we're going to do, and I'll get to Dale's question here in a moment, we have this stuff all warehoused, and I'm so busy that I just drop off a truckload and drop off a truckload and drop off a truckload. I met Paul Burbank the other day, and he had stuff. I haven't walked back there and looked at it for a while. I know we have well over 600 soccer jerseys, and that's
neat.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. All right, Dale says, my wife and I are looking forward to fishing with you Friday and trying out a jig stick I put together. Dale built a jig stick.
Nice.
Can't wait. His wife is lovely. I don't know, your daughters are not coming this time? I'm going to miss your daughters if they're not there. Wonderful family. Love Mexico. Do a lot of good. And those are the kind of people that we have in our family.
Like just the camaraderie and the friendships that are built, like on a boat, like my charters, we've been fishing together a long time, and there's friendships that are developed, and everyone, they might not see, one might live up in Frisco area, but once we get together, it's like yesterday.
Right. I bet you're going to have a friend, I'm just guessing, but that Dan guy who had the battle with leukemia, he seems like a very nice man.
Yes.
I'll bet you end up with a nice friendship because he's already kind of like, when he met you, like star power you had, like I'm meeting the star of tonight's show. Yeah. So I bet you do have I hope I do too because he seems like a really nice gentleman. Yeah. Dino said he caught his first yellowtail on a Penn squitter.
All right.
Yeah, so
nice.
Those are good reels. Israel de la Cruz, now I'm doing it. Jolene, do you ever fish the lagoon in Carlsbad?
I don't, but I know a lot of people that do, and they catch a lot of nice halibut.
Do they?
Yes.
I mean, I've driven by that for many years, and once in a while I see fish jumping or birds picking and stuff, and I'm always like, man, I'd love to fish. I never have fished it.
They usually fish underneath the train trestle or on the other side of the east of the freeway.
And they catch a lot of flatties?
Yeah.
They probably catch spot fin croaker and yellowfin croaker and all that, right?
I remember, unfortunately, when we had the red tide.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
killed a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. A lot of I noticed a lot of the white sea bass from the hatchery, little guys that get out, but anyway, it's just like But yeah, it's very fishy there.
So inquiring minds want to know. You ready for this one?
Okay, go.
You have to have been on a boat before where you're surrounded by 30 guys and you're the only woman. You ever get creeped out? I mean, I'm a guy, okay? So I know guys, like my wife says about me, I know you like the palm of the mano, like the palm of my hand. I know, you know. So guys are, you know, guys are guys.
Yeah.
And so have you ever had a weird situation where too aggressive or
I
anything
have
like
never
that?
had any situation.
That's comforting.
Never.
Really?
Never.
That's great.
No, never.
I'm thinking too, the crew would probably, like, if you went to a crew member and said they're going to come to your defense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, in your position now, I mean, your brother and all these guys, you know, you'd have somebody's fingers cut off on the flyboard.
I've been on. I used to just love fishing, and I would go fishing, and I'd be the only gal on the boat, you know, and then like even on my own trips, I usually always have a friend, one of my girlfriends that fishes, or a couple, or like I had last time, you know. But if it's just me, like my last year 3-day, it was just me and all my friends, and we're all friends. It doesn't, you know.
There's never been an issue.
Nothing. No.
Yeah.
No. I've never felt uncomfortable.
That's
on
great.
a boat.
So you would tell other women and girls. Young girls, you definitely want to have a chaperone with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, like if a gal likes to fish, you know, that just go, you know, or find a girlfriend that wants, you know, try to get a girlfriend that, you know,
or even a guy that you can be your bodyguard.
Of course, there's always those. You always have guys that you know want to fish with you, but never a problem.
Your brother says back in the day, your dad and him would get 2 5-gallon buckets full of clams. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
That sounds like Baja, you know, where you can still go down there and do that.
Yeah, my grandparents and my dad used to go clam digging right in Carlsbad, just right off 101, and they would go frog hunting, you know, in ponds, and clam digging, and we ate a lot of seafood.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of seafood.
What's wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Did you get sick of it, or did you
never,
still love it?
Never.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love fish.
So I just dawned on me, one of the funny cultural differences. When I was living in China, I was just saying, if a girl goes on a boat, you should have a chaperone, right? I'm sick. I think I was patient A on the COVID thing. Right around,
Whoa.
I was laid up, and I told the girls in the office, all the Chinese teachers, they're like, you should take the day off. And I'm like, I don't do that. I just work through it. So I'll see you in the morning. So in the morning, I'm on the phone, hey, not coming in. And so I, fall asleep because I'm really sick, whether it was COVID or whatever it was. And I wake up, and there's 9 4th-grade girls all around my bed in my apartment.
Wow.
Because my dorm was on, and I'm like, what are you guys doing here? And they, Teacher Shelley sent us with food and tea, and so they brought all this stuff.
Nice.
And it was just, it was really, really sweet.
That's nice.
Really sweet. But then they knew where my apartment was. So I used to go to my apartment for lunch and drink coffee with a rugby player. And so all of a sudden, Teacher Philip! And I'm like, oh, here we go again. And we're watching like some dumb movie, and sometimes it was like Predator, and I'm like, you better pause this. This is going to scare the hell out of these kids. So,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was a funny cultural deal because, even my wife was saying like, I trust you, but those people don't know you. I mean,
true.
I wouldn't send my young dog. And I go, I
understand
agree.
what you're saying,
Yeah. Travis Bright, there's enough of us guys out there that wouldn't allow a woman to be harassed and would step in.
True.
Travis is one of those guys. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time on the Old Glory, we're fishing. It was full boat, We're catching these little yellowtail, And this one guy, he just sort of pushed me, and we were all in tangles, and I go, dude, it's just little yellowtail, And so then I went and told Junior, the captain, what happened, because the guy was being a, what? And he goes, show me where he is, he was gonna bust his butt. So it felt good that, Junior was looking after me. But overall,
Travis
yeah.
says a few jerks out there from time to time, but not that
Yeah.
many. You agree?
Yeah, but
You haven't even run into that many jerks, it sounds like.
no, there's no jerks on my boat.
Yeah.
But
those are your
But if
charters.
you go on,
Open party.
yeah, I haven't experienced much.
So.
Not like my brother. Yeah, he's experienced a lot of crap.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You
yeah.
mean of guys hitting on women or just
No,
crap
I'm
in
talking
general? Drunks
open
or.
party drunks and.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm bartending at the Orange County Fair, and Soledad and Evangelina wanted me to say, come by Baja Blues and look us up. The other day, I was serving beer there, or
Yeah.
whatever I was serving mixed drinks, and this guy walks up and he goes, I'll take, a couple beers. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, you know who I am? And I go, no. And he goes, I'm Albert Ponce. And he's a guy that he said, I got a house in Rosarito Beach, and you're welcome to it anytime.
Oh, neat.
And there he is standing in front of me, and he goes, I was sitting over there with my wife, and I'm going to my wife, I keep hearing Phil Friedman's voice.
Oh, yeah, how can you not miss that?
And he turned around, and there I was. So anyway, come and find Evangelina and Soledad. They're much better looking than me, let me tell you. And we're at Baja Blues. You can check us out there. So I'm going full speed right now, just working nights and then doing all this also.
So what bands are playing at the fair this year?
I haven't looked at that,
Yeah.
but there's a lot.
Yeah.
Every night there's concerts. We have live blues music where we're at.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they have all this other stuff. And they have really good food at Baja Blues also. I was surprised.
Is that Orange County?
Yeah, it's Orange County Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, so Costa Mesa, I think it is. And it's great fun, and I get to see a lot of people, and they're like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Until we start making millions on the podcast.
Yeah.
You got to make...
You got to make some tip money.
Exactly.
Got to make that tip money.
By the way, you noticed how great I am at taking care of the engineering. So the first part of the show, no one could hear us.
Right.
Steve Oropesa, our executive producer, is back next week. He's actually in Florida right now, and he's shopping around for more sponsors for the show at ICAST. So, Steve, it's great that you are back. Finally, I tried to keep this thing glued together while you were gone.
Hurry up, Steve.
Thanks, Jolene. Thanks. Hey, well, when you have great guests like you, it's hard to go wrong. So, what's your dream for tonight on board the Freedom? What would make your day? What would you like to catch tomorrow?
Well, I love sleeping on a boat. No. I want to catch like a 40-pound white sea bass. I want to catch my limit if possible.
Yeah, there you go.
Yellowtail.
There you go.
My dream catch is a big halibut. I've never caught a real big
Really?
halibut. Yep.
That'd be great. I hope you do that. Kai Fishkiller is saying, and he's talking about your trips now. He said that's why charters are better, because the people, you know all the people, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it becomes a cohesive group.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And I was walking out to go talk to the guys in the tackle office, and there was a couple guys. So we met Dan, the leukemia guy, and then there was another guy named Nate.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I watch your podcast. I go, oh, Nate, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Come back, I'll show you the studio. And he goes, I have a charter on the Amigo tonight.
Oh, yeah, right. He was telling me about that.
Yeah, so then I walk by him again, and he's got two guys, and he's saying, now when you fly line a bit, he's coaching these guys, he's teaching these guys. And I go, hey, dude, I like the way you run your charters already.
No, totally, yeah. When I went in to check in for my spot tonight, I said, he said, hey, you want some pizza? I go, sure, I'll have a piece of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And so
What a nice guy.
I asked him, I asked him, I go, you caught some white sea bass, I'm sure, but what's your technique?
Yeah.
And so he told me, he was explaining and just everything, about the sinker rig that we're probably going to use tomorrow. And really nice guy, really
Super nice.
Just guys like that,
Yeah, those kind of people
love
that you meet in this
fishing.
business.
They have some insight. They catch fish. They're nice. They're pleasant. That's all you need.
It's hard to beat. Hey, I just want to bounce back and talk about our kids trip, because you are so much into kids, but I want to thank Donna at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. I met a kid, Mauricio Lopez, who runs the Clemente.
Right.
And he told me that his dad and him are huge fans. So Mauricio.
Hey, Mauricio, I know Mauricio.
You do?
Yeah.
What a great kid.
Yeah,
Where do
he's
you know
great.
him from?
He used to work on the 95 at Helgren's.
What a polite.
He's so nice. He is just the greatest.
I mean, because to be honest, so I get down there and I was going to bartend. So, but I went down to meet the group, make sure everything goes smoothly. So we have our group down there, and then this guy walks up to me and says, "Well, are you going to chaperone our kids?" And I go, "Excuse me, who are you?" And he goes, "Well, we have the Boy Scouts here." So there's 15 Boy Scouts that I didn't know who they were, and so he's like, "Well, what's the," and I'm like, "Well, hang on, sir. I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know who you are." And so then I pieced it all together, and I found out there was some miscommunication. I said, "Look, hey, I'm not here to kick your kids off the boat. I just want to make sure there's room on the boat. We're Coast Guard approved." So I went to Mauricio, and Mauricio's, "We'll make this work. Hey, we got this."
Yeah,
And so I got to go back to the gentleman and say, "Hey, you guys are good. Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle is going to take good care of you," which he did.
That's great.
So Donna, Mauricio, which is a trip that you know him.
Yeah.
He's going to be on here next Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
I hope. I pitched it to him.
Oh, good.
He didn't answer. Well, I can't answer right now, but he wanted to be on, and I want him on.
He's a super great young man, and his wife, her father, I've known forever. He goes on my fishing trips. And,
is his wife like to fish?
I don't know if his wife likes to fish. But yeah, good guy.
Yeah, super good guy. And every time I meet a kid like
He's
that,
a captain, right?
I know. Yeah, he runs the Clementi.
Yeah.
I meet kids like that when I'm bartending, and I always say to them, I go, "Something tells me there's a really good mom and dad back home."
Yeah.
And the answer is, yeah, I got a really good mom and dad. You can see it.
Oh, totally.
And you can see the kids that have been neglected and don't have a good mom and dad.
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
you come into play and make kids have fun fishing. I just think it's so much fun having a boatload of kids instead of sometimes a boatload of adults, you know?
I know. The joy and the happiness and the low expectations. You don't need to catch a yellowtail. You don't need to catch a giant bluefin tuna. You just got. You don't even have to catch anything.
Yeah.
They're happy playing in the bait tank.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
But if you do get a mackerel or some dumb fish,
yeah,
they're stoked.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the impact of fishing on kids? How important is it? How important is it to get kids into the outdoors, to get them away from their phones?
I think it's highly important that if somebody exposes them, takes them out fishing, not just once, it has to be more than once. And to get the excitement going, to catch that fish, to, photograph what you caught. Even like, remember the Fred Hall show on the trout pond?
Yeah, God, yes. Remember how excited the kids were about that?
My daughter caught her first fish in the trout pond, yeah.
That's awesome.
But just to get them out there, and it doesn't, there's no wrong or right way to do it, when you're teaching your kids, just the basics, the fundamentals, and just to say, hey, you want to do this again? I think a lot of times too is that sometimes you got to give them a little nudge, kids a little nudge,
Yeah.
You don't have. It's not like you can't just say, hey, you want to go fishing? Well, they're going to say no because they'd rather be doing something else, like their little game box maybe, or playing baseball or whatever. But anyway, just no pressure and just take them out there and try to get them interested.
Yeah, it's so important because. It's one thing. Now I get the same. One of the guys that I hang out with, he's going, "You're always playing on your phone." I'm not playing on. I mean, those phones are such great tools now that I can shoot video, I can edit the video, I can add subtitles, I can add music. That's what I'm doing when I'm on my phone. I'm not playing a crossword puzzle. But there are people who are doing, playing a slot machine or whatever that crap is. And that's okay. I mean, for an adult, if that's where you find some peace, and gives you a break from working hard. I get that, but kids that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, you got to start them young.
Yeah.
Or any age really, but I don't know, just got to get them somehow. You got to get them hooked.
Israel De La Cruz just sent a $20 bill into the show.
All right.
Israel, thank you. This guy is out of control in terms of. He donated a reel that we raised a lot of money with, and we're going to be able to ship down all that stuff from Mexico. So anyway, what I was going to tell you by Israel, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. He wants to mention one thing. His phone was stolen on the Old Glory.
Oh, yeah?
He mentioned it to Chappie about it, and he said he was quick on it and got it back for him.
All right.
Yeah. I've had some funny situations, not funny, but oh my God, some really I'll have to tell you some other time. But the Mexico stuff, which Israel helps us so much with, you said, do you need volunteers?
Yeah.
And then I went off on some other tangent.
It's all right.
What I'm thinking about doing is, if the workplace will allow, because we stored at Gallagher Staging, we need to go in there and look at what we have
Get it all
and put
sorted.
the kids stuff in blue bags and the adult
Yeah.
stuff in red or whatever. Somebody would, do you have organizational skills?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
I don't. So that would be great. You know, so that would be. Hey, Albert, I've mentioned you 500 times tonight, Albert, and all of it was with a great deal of amor. Albert's the guy that was at the Baja Blues when I was
Okay.
serving.
Oh, yeah.
He's offered his place in Rosarito.
All right.
And he was on that trip down there out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing the other day
okay.
with his lovely family, Crystal, his wife, and kids. He's the guy that, hey, I'm hearing Bill Friedman's voice. Oh, shoot, it's his wedding anniversary.
Oh, boy.
You got, hey, Feliz Aniversario. You got a perfect excuse. You talk about people that you meet. I've known Albert now in person
Isn't that great?
for an hour,
Isn't that
and
neat?
I feel
You know, like
hermanos, like
Yeah,
brothers
yeah.
already, because you can see
it's
right into a person's soul. You can see when they're phony, and you can see
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're genuine, right?
Oh yeah, you know, I worked on a golf course for 14 years, and the just being around so many people, like there's so many great people that you come into contact with, and we're friendly to each other. We don't judge. We're like-minded in a sense of
Yeah.
just being nice.
And
That's all
another
it
thing about
takes.
Albert that I got to tell you, when I do the morning briefing, it starts out with a crow, the rooster
crow,
crow.
yeah.
You like that? Is it driving you nuts
Yeah.
yet? His daughter was imitating that down at Dana Wharf, and Albert, I still need a video of that.
Oh, that's funny.
Cutest kids
I
in the
know. I have
world.
to turn the volume down. No.
Oh, I know, exactly. I know it's driving some people nuts.
I love it though.
Some guys say my wife is like going crazy, and he goes, I just turn it up more every morning. And that seagull thing,
my
I picked
God,
that
that's
seagull
so
thing
funny.
because that is something you hear all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, guys out on the boat and here's the seagulls, they're going to think of my show
that's
again.
so funny.
It's so funny. Hey, by the way, Albert, back there are some lovely photos of you and your family. So good stuff. Here's another guy. He's late to the show. He was cleaning fish,
All right.
laughing out loud. And something that I hope you're going to be doing tomorrow,
Yeah,
right?
I'll give you a report.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been chatting now. How long do you think we've been chatting? If you took a guess.
Let's see, hour and 40 minutes.
Well, you're pretty close. How'd you know that?
Yeah, just guess.
Yeah, you're pretty good. We're going to move up on 2 hours, but you got to get on the boat, so I'm going to let you go here pretty soon. What is your overall impression of sport fishing? Is this a sport? Some people say that it's on a time clock. Boats are old. No one's building new boats. There's all this environmental pressure.
Yeah, there is.
What 100 years from now,
Jeez.
will there be sport
Well,
fishing?
Are they building any new boats? Or are they just, some of these boats, I mean, they're Coast Guard approved, they operate, they're fine. I mean, it's not like we need, new sleds, but I don't know. I think it's just the economy and the amount of money.
And this inflation and the supply
like-
chain and
But
everything.
it's, if you love the sport, nothing's going to stop you. But yeah, there's so many boats out there to go on, and these owner operators, they work their butt off.
And those are all individual businesses.
Yeah.
Every one of those guys is sweating at night, trying to figure out how am I going to pay
Yeah.
this bill. Oh my God, we're not carrying enough people. They go through all the stuff that a person in business goes through, and you gotta think
They
about
work
them.
hard.
They do.
It's a lot of work to work on it. Like Bob Taft, he's on that boat all the time. I mean, it's his love, and it's not the easiest job in the world.
Isaac Parcell, that's who's cleaning fish, and that's because he had such a great trip. Isaac, I have a lot of boats in my head. I think he was on the Pacific Voyager and had a phenomenal trip where they limited out really fast on yellowtail. And his son, I forget your son's name, Isaac. You're going to put that up there for me in a second. His son, little guy, just performed admirably
that's great.
and did such a great
That's
job.
neat.
And I'm going to have some video of him on the morning briefing
All right.
tomorrow morning
great.
catching his first fish. But,
Oh, that's
you know,
neat.
dads get really, really, really proud about stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He was on the Voyager.
Okay.
Speaking of rooster, Jolene, have you ever caught a rooster fish?
No, I tried in Cabo, but I caught a needlefish.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, big old needlefish.
Some of those things
They're
are
like-
big.
They got green mouth and green teeth.
Yeah, Israel.
That was-
I'm sure Israel. I think he's kind of. There are fun fish to catch, roosters.
Yeah, I've heard they are.
You know, when you get out on a
Yeah,
panga,
they're
you can get
strong.
those big ones. Jonathan Roldan down there at Tail Hunter International in La Paz, he focuses a lot on those things. But my favorite way, perhaps, Jolene, is just taking a nice stroll down the beach on a beautiful Baja beach when you're all alone
Oh, God, yeah.
and casting a chrome crocodile. Oh my God.
Yeah.
At Palmas de Cortez, my kids knew all the pongeros, so we'd come in and then they'd go out to the beach and they'd start yelling at the guys, and the guys would throw a live bait up on the beach. They'd grab it, pin it on, cast it out,
wow.
and hang a
That's
rooster
funny.
and do that. So it was really, really great. Ethan, he's 7 years old and he did a great job. I know you want to say to Ethan, great job.
Great job, Ethan.
Good
That a
job.
boy.
Jolene, the kindness just exudes out of you. You are such a kind person. I can see that. I can see why so many people are tuned in and so many people love you. It's easy to see. The fishing part of you is a big thing because you're a lady angler and that's great, but you are a kind-hearted soul.
thank
I can
you.
see that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank my mom. No.
Did she teach you that way?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
No. It's just,
That's where I give all the credit
yeah,
for me
moms,
too.
right?
And my dad, both those two were highly involved in helping the poor and driving that into my head. And there was an instance once where a kid dropped a ethnic bomb, and my mom fricking came unglued and threw him out of the house. And
Yeah.
so I've seen my mom come unglued went back in the day about stuff like that. And in retrospect, I can see now she was teaching me. Those blow-ups were real,
Oh, yeah.
but they were also, maybe I'll add a little more flair to this so this dummy here gets the point that we don't
Right.
treat people
No,
that
you
way.
don't. No.
Yeah.
Respect.
It's
But
his.
thank you.
It's his third year fishing with him. Your daughter now, she's been participating in the show. Was there a time when she fished with you?
Just when she was little.
Like how old?
Oh, probably 5, 6. She caught her first fish at the Fred Hall show in Del Mar.
Oh,
you
okay.
know.
Was she excited about it or not?
I think so.
Yeah.
She had a dress on, and
Oh, how cute.
and she, surf fishing off the jetty, at the harbor. That's about it.
Yeah, and now? No mas?
No mas. No mas.
And she just didn't like
Yeah,
it?
she
or-
just doesn't. No, she's in the fashion world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
But she
those
just,
two worlds
she,
don't.
She's just, she just doesn't. It's just like, like if you and your wife surf and your kid doesn't want to surf, it's
Yeah.
like, what can you do?
Right. Yeah, I mean, people have different likes and dislikes. My wife, she'd rather, I think, slit her wrist than go fishing, I down there in Palmas de Cortez, I go, Ruth, come on, you should come out. Friggin' Dorado, right? And she's like, I don't care. And I'm like, come on. So we go out. We get this beautiful 40-pound Dorado. I snap this photo of her.
You're
and
so happy.
Yeah, and she looks at me and goes, can we go in now? So I didn't make that. I was like, I can't stay married to a woman that doesn't like to fish. That's her.
Yeah, it is.
She has her likes and dislikes, and I have mine.
Yep.
Thank God she still likes me a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're a likable guy.
I don't know about that. So good luck on the Freedom.
All
It's been a
righty.
real pleasure. Do you want to promote your trips or give a
Oh.
phone number out or anything like that? Any last questions for Jolene? You can fire them in now. We never end the show with a question on the board.
Okay.
And if you haven't subscribed or hit the like button, please hit the like button. Thank you for those of you who sent some money our way tonight. I think that is so nice of you.
Very nice.
And we're almost at 4,000 subscribers,
Right.
which I'm really grateful for all of you who did that.
Great.
So anything you need to plug or any product or anybody you work with?
Well,
You hit Daiwa, which I
I
appreciate.
love Daiwa. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daiwa's great. Well, I do have a couple spots open on my 3-day charter.
Let's hit it up.
On the Pacific Voyager.
When
and
does it leave?
It leaves Sunday, September 4th.
Ooh, that's a Good time of the year.
Yeah,
Good weather time.
And we get back Wednesday, September 7th, and it's a limited load of 16 people, and it's $1,075 and includes all your food. It's out of Seaforth, where there is free parking, and if anyone wants to go, give me a call.
And that number again?
760-717-3506.
There you are. Who wouldn't want to fish with Jolene?
Or hit me up on Facebook even.
Yeah, you'll
Message.
send a friend.
Yeah, any phone number or whatever.
All right, great. Do you put a lot of stuff on Facebook when you're fishing or not?
Yeah, I post my trips.
How often do you fish?
Let's see.
Once a week, once a month?
No, well, I work on a boat, so I get to
I
fish.
call that fishing.
Yeah, that's just once a week. But I've been really busy with my, I do home care. I work for a lady, so I work pretty much full time, which I love. It's I get to give, and she gives to me. And yeah, I want to go out like on the Liberty when I have a day off. When I think the bluefin are going to get closer. And go on the Liberty or the Mission Bell.
Oh, do you fish the Mission Bell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Do you ever fish with Mimi on there?
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
It's been I fished the Mission Bell a long time ago, but that's a boat
I love that boat.
On. Yeah. Oh, and I want to go on the Old Glory and have my brother's Eggs Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Chappie.
Chappie.
Yeah. I'm going to be down there on...
Friday.
He'll be out, though, right? Yeah.
Probably.
He can't have Eggs Benedict ready for me when I walk down the docks?
Guess not.
Oh, my God. And so, how many days a week do you, or how often you fish every week? Then you're on a boat. You're on the charter boat, right?
I work on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then I've been out. I think I've been out 5 times this year. So probably have like 7 or 8 days in. So and they've all been good days.
Let me ask you one final question, unless
Sure.
we get another. So when you outfish all the guys, do you ever get any blowback on that, like lucky, or she doesn't know what she's doing?
Not really.
So we're painting an awfully nice picture of fishermen here.
Yeah,
which
they
is
are.
a great thing.
They are. People like I don't always prevail, but when I catch it's such a great feeling to be one of those anglers that catches one of those 3 or 4 fish that are caught. That's what I love. And people are sort of quiet. Some say, "Oh, nice catch," and so just take it and say thank you and move on.
The more I move in life here, see if you agree or not. But now, I don't want to get political here, so I'm just going to say it, okay? But this elite intellectual class, like I got a degree from Loyola in history, bachelor's degree. I rarely mention that because, to be honest with you, I mean, pretty much anybody can do that. I mean, it wasn't that difficult. It really wasn't. And I don't feel like I'm any smarter than anybody else. I think, your average blue-collar worker is smarter than me. Or, seriously. So, but you have this elite group now that are trying to they're smarter than all of us, so they make all the decisions for us. You kind of know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the more I work the Orange County Fair and I go to Speedway. It's a bunch of bikers, right? Rough biker guys. And I look at them and I talk to them, and they're real Americana. They love the country. They're good, decent people, and they work their butts off.
Yeah, they do.
And same thing in the fishing community.
Exactly.
Same thing with plumbers. Those kind of people, I feel way more comfortable
Yes,
with.
definitely.
I feel really out of place with snobs from.
I know.
I mean, and there's people with higher educational degrees that are great people, down to earth, wonderful human beings. They get PhDs in whatever it is.
Some people have bad character defects.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even know us.
That's true. That's true. What's his name again? AKA the Sack. He's sending you his best for a great trip. See you there. I got a 1.5-day trip leaving on the Voyager, so he's going to see me.
All right.
Jolene, it's been great.
Right.
I don't know how to thank you.
Thank you.
Are you kidding? You have added so much to our show here tonight.
Thank you.
You're a lovely person.
Thank you.
Your daughter, we got to wish your mom a happy birthday, was it? Or just say hi to her?
Oh, say hi.
Yeah. But all of that was just great tonight. And more than anything, I hope you and I hope Dan the guy who overcame leukemia, and it's his first trip back tonight. Hope you both have a special trip.
I really hope he catches something, you know, and I'll send you a picture.
Yeah,
And,
if he catches
you know,
something, get a photo.
I love your morning briefing show too, by the way.
Thank
It's
you.
Excellent.
Thank you
and
so
all
much.
you do for
Thank
the
you.
community, your favorite.
Well, I'm going to rope you in on this now because I'm going to have you down there. Brandon, who stuck his head in here, he's just got home. Guess how big my whitefish was today? 2.5 pounds.
Whoa, that's a big one.
That's a big one. So for everybody who contributed tonight, for you for being here, can't thank you enough. The only thing I can guarantee is you're going to be back again really, really soon.
I hope so.
Thank you, Jolene.
Thank you.
You can say goodbye to all your fans while I walk
Bye,
over.
everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it.